Wet show out here, but right now, later this evening, we've got a nice breeze. I'm sitting here with you in the booth here, Bill, and it feels absolutely fantastic. We are in store for some really fantastic performances. We've already got people jumping long in the long jump. We had some fast times that we'll talk a little bit more about earlier in the pre-program races, but I'm super excited to be back down here in Memphis, Tennessee for another edition of the Ed Murphy Classic. As a competitor, this was always a great competition for me, and so as I'm here in the booth with you, I can feel the vibes, and I think it's going to be an electric night.
You're going to look at Emmanuel Archibald, who's currently in fourth place, second jump in this men's long jump. Leader is Kerry McLeod of Jamaica, the Olympian, who's gone 26 feet 7 and 3/4 inches, 8 meters 12. Will Williams has gone 8 meters even, 26 feet 3 inches. Charles Godfrey of Nigeria currently in third. And again, we're just in round 2 of 6 here. We have 11 competitors starting this competition. Malcolm Clemens out of the University of Florida, his second attempt. He picked up a foul in his first round.
When you got in the first round of competition, you already got 2 gentlemen over 8 meters. That tells you exactly what we were talking about before, what kind of day it is. With this slight breeze on the running events, has been about 1.8, 1.9. So this is that prime area that you want to be, particularly for a long jumper. Give me a little bit of that tailwind, but keep it just under 2.0.
Part of the reason this meet has grown is because this is a meet where they have always tried to make sure they give the athletes ideal conditions. They've actually changed the horizontal jump timing today. At one point they were going to be running on alternate pits, but have stacked it all onto this pit going with the wind here to improve the conditions for these jumpers. Same thing on the track, making sure everyone's going to have a nice tailwind today. You might get the best time you can out of here. And again, if you're looking for that standard mark you might need, tonight's a good night as any to do it. Is the NCAA champion last year at USC, J.C. Stevenson, will jump for the second time. He no-marked in his first attempt with a foul. And that'll be another foul for Stevenson. By the way, the mark for Malcolm Clemens came in at 7 meters 65, 25 feet 1.25 inches, which is good enough to move him into 7th right now behind Marquise Dendy in 6th, Cameron Crumps in 5th, Manuel Archbold in 4th, Charles Godfrids in 3rd, Will Williams in 2nd, and Kerry McLeod first. They're going to have the opening national anthem and prayer here, so we will step aside shortly and come on back, get you set for everything in front of us coming up over the course of the next 3 hours here in Memphis.
Johnson. I'm going to pass it over to the talented sex music academy who belt out the national anthem for you. So over to you guys.
All right, beautiful rendition of the national anthem to get us going here in Memphis. First event on the track in this main program comes up in about 8 minutes' time. It's the women's 200 meters, highlighted by Brittany Brown, the bronze medalist at the Paris Olympic Games, and Mackenzie Long, who turned 25 yesterday, ran speedy 100 earlier, looking to run a great 200 here today. Before we get there, though, as we continue to look on to the men's long jump, we're also going to look back to last night and that what has become famous scene here at the Murphy Classic, the Beale Street pole vault. It is an awesome event. I was down there yesterday. It's right in front of the famous restaurant Alfred's. They set it up right on Beale Street. You got folks who planned to be there, other folks that were just walking along and end up stopping and watching. Great atmosphere. The DJ going all night long, and we had some pretty high-level pole vaulting as well, starting in the women's event, which was won by Chloe Timberg, the NCAA champion last year at Rutgers. You see right there on Beale Street, this was Gabby Hoke at 4 meters 33, a clearance to get up and over and solidify herself second place, as you see Hoke again up and over at 4 meters 33. But the winner, Chloe Timberg, again, reigning NCAA champ last year, 4 meters 58 up and over and smoothly. Went for it at 4 meters 65, which would have been the meet record, and came up just a touch short, but was very smooth before that, Darrell.
Yeah, she's done a really good job this competition. She kind of shocked some folks last year at the NCAA championships when she got the win, and obviously coming off of what she would probably consider a disappointing second-place finish at the NCAA championships, to get down here on Beale Street in front of all these wonderful fans and get over 4:58 and grab the dub. I know she feels great about it.
Yeah, as you'll see, the theme at the Murphy meet, every single winner gets to pop the champagne. In the men's event, which was after the sun went down, real party atmosphere, this is Hassan Ali of Saudi Arabia, who had one of the best nights of his entire pole vaulting career, clearing 5 meters 72, and it was good enough to move him into second. But the winner was Nate Rickards, who had fewer misses on his way to 5 meters 72, and Rickards is the winner on Beale Street.
If you can look at the screen here, you can see the lights have started to go down and Beale Street is starting to become more alive, and I think that really played a factor in how these men were jumping. We saw people jumping just as close to their personal best. Sometimes that's just a matter of where the bar is set. Like, it might not, your PR might be 572, but the bar progression is 570 to 575. So when you get over 570 in a competition like that, you take that as if it's a PR.
And Hassan Ali, 5 meters 72 was the Saudi national record. Again, good enough for second, but it was Rickards with those fewer early misses, and that's why it's so important to hit those early marks and early heights, and enough for him to pop the bottle and look like a real pro doing it as well here. Good spray into the crowd, and we'll see if anyone can beat Trip Pippery from last year, who finished the whole bottle after winning the men's shot put. But heck of a celebration for Rickards. Good way to get us started as we look at Jerian Lawson in the men's long jump. This is live. Lawson's second attempt. Lawson, one of 60-plus Olympians competing tonight. He fouled in his first round jump. Again, the leader still is Kerry McLeod, has gone 27 feet and half an inch so far, 8 meters 24. That will be a legal mark here for Lawson. By the way, earlier today, you were here for the javelin competition. Saw Curtis Thompson win the men's jav, throwing it over 80 meters, 80-89, ahead of Mark Minicello in second. Madison Wiltrout was the women's winner, 55 meters, 54, just ahead of Ariana Ince. What was your takeaway from the jav earlier today?
It was really fun to get out there and watch them throw. We had some good energy. I was actually on the MC, so instead of me being here in the booth, I was out there live and direct right next to the runway, and I got a chance to talk to Curtis Thompson, and he's been feeling really good. He's in a little bit of a training phase, trying to get ready for the second portion of the season. He opened up the season at 87 meters. He's got the third longest throw in the world this year, so he's currently having the season of his life. Madison Wiltrout, NCAA champ. She's a UNC alum. She also, is feeling pretty good as she starts to approach USA's, but I got to see both of them pop the champagne, and they were feeling good.
So Marquise Dendy, who's rocking the bucket hat tonight. That's a look here in the men's long jump. The Tokyo Olympian currently sitting in 8th place with a 25-foot, 3.25-inch jump. Women's triple jump already is wrapped up as well. We mentioned the conditions are favorable for good jumps. How about the world number 3 this year for the winner, Davislady Velasco out of Cuba? She cleared 14 meters 61 in the win, and now Cubans have 3 of the top 4 marks in the world this season, the women's triple jump.
Yeah, I got to talk to the Ed Murphy, and I kind of thanked him. I told him, listen, obviously I came here a couple years ago as an athlete, And the athlete experience here is so positive that the professional athletes, they view the Ed Murphy Classic as an opportunity to come and perform at a high level. So I'm not surprised. We got great vibes and good wins, so it makes a ton of sense to me that she got a great mark.
Here's the reigning U.S. indoor champion, Will Williams. Won USATF Indoors this year, was 11th at World Indoors. Also made the U.S. team at the 2023 Worlds, finished 8th in the final. Currently in second here. This is his third attempt. Best so far today, 26 feet and 3 inches, which puts him about 9 inches shy of the leading mark of Kerry McLeod, 27 feet and a half an inch.
Kerry McLeod really putting it out there. We talked earlier when we first got on the stream about if you get a first-round jump over 8 meters, how you're feeling about the competition. Well, now he's talking about 8:24. As we start to build throughout the summer, you know, we got some hand slapping here between him and his coach. So I'm excited to see what the mark is on the board.
I beg your pardon. That was Nikolai Williams, who jumps in the order just ahead of Will Williams, and he's happy because after 2 fouls, Nikolai Williams of Jamaica just went 26 feet 2 1/4 inches, which vaults him up to 3rd place and guarantees him his final 3 attempts.
We call that clutch. We've got, 11 people here in the competition, so they're only going to take, I believe it's 8. I don't want to misspeak right now. I'm not sure if it's 8 or 9. I got to double check that, but you have to have a legal mark to advance here in the competition.
Took 9 in the triple, so I imagine
so we
9 here in the long jump as well. As Charles Godfred fouls here. Godfred in 6th place. 25 feet 11 inches back in round 1 is his best so far.
I'm admittedly rusty on that, right? I've spent most of my time most recently in the NCAA season. They take a lot of 8 people. Now I'm back shifting my brain to professional track and field where it's always 9. So I'm glad to see 9 because we need more people jumping and throwing.
Congrats, by the way, on the new gig at your alma mater, Penn State. I see you rocking the Nittany Lion gear next to me here. And just so the folks know, Darrell's working double duty tonight. He's going to be out there coaching in the women's pole vault. We may get some reports from him from down by the ring during the women's shot put competition.
I was waiting for you to finish so I could poke some fun at you.
Yes, the women's shot put competition. I don't know. I think I've talked to you enough. You could coach and pole vault if you needed to.
Like anything, I've got what you call the lock-in gene. So if you took me over there and you told me I had to get it done, it would get done for sure. But, yeah, I'll be out there coaching the women's shot put, Jessica Woodard, tonight. Our training's been going really well, and we've got an electric competition here with a bunch of great women in the field that we talk a lot more about later. But it is going to be a fantastic day for throwing for sure.
Emmanuel Archibald with a strong leap there. The native of Guyana is currently in 7th place. You got some big names today. You mentioned good field in the women's shot put. Men's shot put, almost everybody, it feels like, had a personal best last week at Prefontaine Classic. So you got a bunch of guys coming here feeling great, coming off the best throws of their lives only a week ago. On the track, we mentioned Brittany Brown coming up in the women's 200, one of 60-plus Olympians. Mo Nikolaev running in the 800 meters coming up, the Tokyo Olympic champion. Also Stephen Gardner, the Tokyo champ in the 400 meters, who's on his way back after injuries derailed his season before the Olympics last year. And that's just to name a couple of the athletes. Every race feels like you got an Olympic or world medalist, at least one, over the course of the competition. So it's going to be a great day, starting with the women's 200 meters, which is coming up in about a minute's time here. We've got Brittany Brown leading the way in the women's 200 as we get going here at the Ed Murphy Classic. All right, let's run you through the field here in the women's 200 as they are lined up and ready to go. From the outside in lane number 9, it's Jessica Gabay, the 26-year-old out of Philadelphia, who competes for Cote d'Ivoire. Her best is 22:36, the African athletics champion last year. In lane 8, it's Mackenzie Long. 25th birthday was yesterday. She was an Olympic finalist in Paris, finishing 7th, NCAA champ in the 100 and 200 last year. And mentioned folks running fast today, as you see Gabay there and then Long. How about Mackenzie Long? About an hour and a half ago in the 100 meters in the pre-program, she ran 10:89. It was a helping wind of 3.7 meters per second, but still showing that she is in great form. Long will be there in lane number 8. Next, in lane number 7, it is Favor Ophelia, the 22-year-old out of Nigeria. She finished 6th at the Paris Olympic Games. In lane 6, Brittany Brown, the 30-year-old bronze medalist at the Paris Olympics. She's run 21:90 in her career. Deja Stevens runs out of lane number 5, the 30-year-old Rio Olympian, where she was 7th and a past NCAA champ at Oregon. Jaden Mays is in lane number 4, the NCAA runner-up indoors this year, running at Oregon. And on the inside lane 3, Cambria Sturgis, 26 years old, out of Kannapolis, North Carolina. Winner this year at the Atlanta City Games, and 3 years back, the NCAA champion in the 100 at NCA&T.
Bill, this is going to be fast. This is going to be fast. We got my Olympic teammate, Deja Stevens, here. Mackenzie Long, we talk about what she looked like in 100 meters. Setting the tone early in the competition. The weather is, I know we keep talking about it, but it is beautiful out here right now in Memphis, Tennessee. No humidity, slight breeze. I can't wait to see what the clock says.
The biggest question is going to be, will the wind be legal here? It's been sitting between about 1.5 meters per second and 2.5 meters per second all throughout the pre-program. All right, away we go in the women's 200 meters. Mackenzie Long on the outside in the red, and lane 8 is off well. Brittany Brown also coming along the bend in a good spot. It's Long who won the 100 earlier today that has the lead off the turn. Mackenzie Long still in front. Now inside of her favor, Ophelie's coming hard. Ophelie and Long with Brown fighting for a spot as well. Look at Long surge at the end and take it just ahead of favor Ophelie. Those two battled over the final 100 meters there.
We saw them come off the turn. You saw Mackenzie Long. That 100-meter start really showed up. And in favor of Ophelie, as we come down 150, start approaching the backstretch of the 200 meters, she comes and presses her up on the side. But you see Mackenzie Long finish strong. What is the time? What is the time?
21:93 is the official time here for Long, who was pushed by Ophelie the whole way. That is the number 2 time in the world this year, behind just Julian Alfred.
Right on schedule. I talked to you before about the athlete experience, how they feel about this competition. Listen, I don't like to talk ahead, but obviously a lot of these athletes who are here, particularly the American athletes, are thinking about the U.S. championships and what they've got to do to make the team to go to Tokyo. And you start to see the NCAA champion, what type of special season she had last year, and how now as a professional, how she can start to make her way towards making another team.
Win legal time of 1.2 meters per second for Long. That 21:93 good for world number 2. Favor Ophelie at 22 flat in second. That's now the 6th fastest time in the world this year. And Brittany Brown, who's been slowly cranking up into this season as she tries to peak by the U.S. Nationals in about 3 weeks, runs into 3rd at 22:17. That's a top 15 time in the world so far. So Long ahead of Ophelie and Brown, then Jaden Mays, 22:31. Very good time for her on a very favorable day for fast times. We should see that throughout the course of this program, as we've got another 2.5 hours of great track and field coming your way. Men's long jump continuing. Here's the leader, Kerry McLeod, his 3rd jump of the day, and it is a foul. So he'll stay ahead at 27 feet and half an inch. And hey, after that world number 2 time of the year, Mackenzie Long, she has stopped by with our Serenity Douglas.
Oh. There we go. All right, how do you feel about the way you ran today?
I've been really just trying to execute the first curve, and then come out the curve, I just had to compose and stay strong, so that's what I did, and I'm very proud of myself.
How does this set you up good for USA's?
Oh, this sets me up beautifully, but I wanted this to be my last one going into trials, and I'm glad I did.
And a nice little birthday present for you. You just turned 25, so happy birthday, Mackenzie. Celebrate that win.
Thank you so much.
All right, back to y'all.
Earlier today, they competed in the long jump competition.
So it's a great day for Mackenzie Long. She wins the 100 in the pre-program under 11 seconds and then runs the world number 2 time, sub 22 seconds here in the 200 to get the victory and start things off in the main program of the Ed Murphy Classic. Got some time before our next race, 9 minutes before the completion of the men's triathlon with a bunch of multi-athletes. So we'll keep our eye here on the men's long jump with Kerry McLeod still in front. We are finishing up the 3rd round here, and we'll trim the field down to 9. Last jump was Jerian Lawson's, and it has held him in 9th place, 25 feet, 4.5 inches. Does look like he will move on, though, to the final 3 jumps, as he is ahead of Malcolm Clemens and J.C. Stevenson, who are both through their 3 jumps today. Now it's Marquise Dendy, currently in 5th place, 25 feet, 11 inches. Dendy's best through the opening 2 rounds. Dendy was third at the Xiamen Diamond League in China just about a month and a half ago. Trying to get out there. That looked like it covered some distance, and it is a legal mark. See if it's an improvement for him here. So we'll wait for Dendy's mark, and then we'll start to get you set for a very unique event here at the Ed Murphy Classic, the men's triathlon. We've got some of the best multi-athletes in the world. They've already competed in 2 events in the field, the long jump and the discus. They're going to round things out with the 200 meters coming up shortly. As we have the mark in for Dendy, no improvement. One of those athletes coming up in this men's combined is a native of Memphis, Tennessee. He's also an Olympian. It's Harrison Williams, and he's about to tell us how this is a very special event for him.
Harrison Williams, decathlete, originally from Memphis, Tennessee, so it's good to be back home competing. It's been awesome to see how this meet has grown. I mean, it's been a bucket list meet for me my whole career. Timing just finally worked out this year for me to compete, and they put on a little triathlon for the multis, so just an honor to be back competing again. I think there's so much talent in Memphis. It's raw, and they don't have the access to all the club teams that they do in bigger, richer cities. So it's been awesome to see what the Ed Murphy Track Club has done for the kids of Memphis. I think we can have a lot of Olympians from Memphis in the next couple Olympics if we really just start developing talent early on. Yeah, there's youth clinics happening all year. Check out the Ed Murphy website, Instagram for more. I did one just a couple months ago for the multi-events, but we have event-specific clinics kind of all year round. And the Ed Murphy Track Club, free track club, any kid wants to come out and run. Also, a shout out to the Memphis Mustangs, my home club team. They're the best club in the world, in my opinion.
Cool. You're a Memphian. What's one thing someone's got to do when they're in Memphis if they don't know?
I always take my friends to Gibson's Donuts. I took a couple decathletes there yesterday, and they agreed best donuts in the world. So you got to go down, get a couple glazed donuts. They slap. Yeah, thank you, Ed Murphy Classic. Thanks for the opportunity. Happy to be home.
Harrison Williams, who was 7th in the decathlon in Paris. Again, this is the triathlon at the Murphy Classic. So these men have gone through the discus and the long jump, and we're with just the 200 coming up in about 5 minutes' time. Through the first 2 events, Kyle Garland is leading. Garland with 1,828 points through the long jump and the discus. He had an outstanding long jump that netted him more than 1,000 points to put him in the lead. Lyndon Victor, who was the Olympic bronze medalist last year, is in second place, 1,768, so 60 points behind Garland. Another 48 points back is Hakeem McMorris out of the University of California. Then Heath Baldwin in 4th place, Jack Flood in 5th. Baldwin with 1641 and Flood with 1540. Unfortunately for the Memphis native Harrison Williams, we heard how excited he was to compete here, and he threw a decent discus throw but did not start the long jump. So we will not expect to see Williams coming up in this 200. Looks like that field is down to 5. If you're wondering how that event is scored, it is scored just like you would score a decathlon, or in this case, how the points would work in the men's pentathlon. You take those same values, so the long jump meter distance, same value you'd get in a decathlon, and you're just going to add the 3 scores together. So Garland, the leader right now, and nursing a 60-point lead. Let's look at what we've seen so far today. Earlier on, it was Jack Flood. There was Harrison Williams. Again, they got things started with the discus throw. And there is your current leader, Kyle Garland. After the discus, they moved to the long jump, and there's Jack Flood, who was an NCAA Division III champion at Cortland State. His long jump best was 7 meters 01. Kyle Garland with an outstanding long jump. This is why Garland is where he is in the competition. How about 1,022 points from a 7 meter 85 jump for Garland, the former Georgia Bulldog and NCAA champion back in 2023 in the heptathlon. You saw his long jump. Here's his discus throw. Out near 47 meters, 46.89. That got him 806 points. Lyndon Victor had the best discus throw of 50 meters 31, which is what has moved him up into second place, only 60 points behind. Looking at what 60 points equates to here, in the 200, 60 points is about 0.6 seconds. So as long as Garland can stay 0.6 seconds or less ahead of Lyndon Victor, then he is comfortably in control. Victor will need to win by more than 0.6 seconds in this 200 to overtake Garland for the triathlon championship here in the men's combined event 200 meters, which is coming your way in about 4 minutes' time. While we have a few minutes, we'll quickly update you on what else is going on right now in the field. We mentioned the 3 rounds of the men's long jump with Kerry McLeod in front. Men's discus also throwing out behind us, and just underway in the competition. Men's discus, Mitch Weber is the early leader, 63 meters 10 or 207 feet out ahead of Andrew Evans and Jakob Akuye. Olympians Reggie Jager and Alex Rose, along with the Olympic champion Rohe Stona, have yet to throw. So it's another one of the Olympic champions that is here in this men's discus. Stona, Paris Olympic champion. Another highlight at this meet, which has locked up a number of Olympic champions, Olympic medalists galore, and over 60 Olympians competing tonight on the track and in the field. That includes in this men's combined, mentioned Harrison Williams, an Olympian, Kyle Garland hoping to be an Olympian. He's competed at the World Championships. Heath Baldwin was at the Olympics last year. Lyndon Victor was the bronze medalist at the Olympics last year, and that is why you have a pretty high-powered group here in this men's combined. Looking at Hakeem McMorris right now. He was second in the heptathlon at USATF Indoors. There's Baldwin, who had a dominant Olympic trials last year to qualify a spot and get himself to Paris. 8,625 points to win the Olympic trials last year. After this jump, we'll move you over to the 200. This is Charles Godfrey in 6th place after the first couple of jumps. His 4th jump of the day is a legal mark. We'll see if it's an improvement on his 25 feet and 11 inches. Now to the field here in the 200. There is Kyle Garland starting on the outside. Garland's in lane number 6. Next to him in lane 7 was supposed to be Harrison Williams. Again, Williams did not start the long jump, so his lane will be open here on the outside in lane number 8. You're getting a look at Lyndon Victor out of Grenada, bronze medalist 2023 World Championships and the 2024 Olympic Games. Inside of Garland, you had Heath Baldwin in 5, Jack Flood in 4, and Hakeem McMorris in 3. And again, right now, Garland with a 60-point lead. As long as he stays within 0.6 of a second of Victor, it should be enough to secure him the combined events championship here at the Ed Murphy Classic. Victor, such a powerful thrower, and we saw that again today. His discus throw elevating him above the rest of the field to vault him up into 2nd place. Victor was a 2-time NCAA champion when he competed in the multis at Texas A&M. Again, Garland, an NCAA champion at Georgia, 2 to his inside. Wind still very favorable for these shorter sprints. Particularly seems helpful for the 200 because not only is it a tailwind when you get on the straightaway, it's also a bit of a crosswind coming across the track. So you're getting that push both as you start here in the 200 coming around the bend and then really catching it as you turn for home. It's like trying to sort out a quick issue with the starting gun. Again, we'll run you through the lane assignments here. McMorris in 3, Flood in 4, Baldwin in 5, Garland in 6, and Victor in 8. Harrison Williams is a scratch in lane 7. Kyle Garland with a 60-point lead in this triathlon as we start the final event. It's a clean start here. Oh, beg your pardon, spoke too soon. They'll bring him back.
We'll recall the athletes here, get things restarted. Again, the way this is working out, it's
So they tried to simulate part of a decathlon here today with these 3 events. They've all occurred over the last few hours, not spread out over the course of the day, so still dealing with that similar cadence where you only have a relatively short break between the events. And most of these American athletes will be competing in the decathlon in about 3 weeks' time. In fact, for the decathletes, 19 days until the USATF Outdoor Decathlon gets started on a Thursday in Eugene.
We'll get the athletes reset here, get them going again. Again, down from the inside, McMorris in 3, Flood.
So line them back up again. It's McMorris in 3, Flood in 4, Baldwin in 5, Garland in 6, and Victor in 8.
From this event, so it'll be then down to lane 8 with Linton and Victor.
All right, this time it is clean. Looks like Garland's gotten away pretty well. McMorris making up the stagger on the inside. Again, if Garland stays within 0.6 of a second of Victor, he should have this one locked up. McMorris off the bend in good shape. Garland says, hey, 0.6, no problem. He has the lead, and Kyle Garland is running away with it. Garland seals the deal in style. He'll take the triathlon here with a 21:02 to win the 200 ahead of Victor in second. He'll finish second overall. McMorris moves up to 21:44 to take third in the 200. McMorris was third coming in, so the top 3 will be unchanged. Garland, Victor, and McMorris, those are your top 3 in this triathlon. Baldwin fourth in the 200, will also be fourth in the triathlon overall, and Jack Flood will finish 5th overall. And we mentioned the gap that Garland needed to make sure he kept, and not only did he avoid falling behind Victor by 0.6 of a second, he just blows by and wins it. Got a helpful wind of 2.8 meters per second. Garland going 21:02. He wins the long jump and the 200 portion of this triathlon and wins overall. Victor wins the discus throw and finishes second overall.
About 86 points back, and 152 points back for Kyle Garland is our bronze medalist today, Hakeem McMorris. As is customary here at the Ed Murphy Classic.
So Kyle Garland will get the champagne bottle here to pop it after the victory. Well earned over the course of 3 events today. And he is down there with serenity after his win.
All right, Kyle, obviously this is not the decathlon like you normally do, but how do you think this sets you up good for it?
I think it sets me up great, you know. It's great energy out here. The fans brought and created an amazing atmosphere, and it's just good to get to compete against actual other decathletes, so it's definitely a good pre-meet comp going into USA's in a couple weeks.
What were some things you really wanted to focus on coming into this competition?
Well, after my first meet about a month and a half ago, I've been working on a lot of really good technical cues, so the goal of this meet was just to come out and execute, and I think I did that pretty well.
And why are last chance meets like this just so important?
I just think it allows the body to get the last little bit of reps going into USA's. It's always good to get competition reps as opposed to practice reps. So the best way to simulate competition is to come out and actually compete. So meets like this are absolutely amazing for that.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Congratulations on your win. Go ahead and celebrate.
All right, Kyle Garland going to pop the champagne after his win. Heck of a 200 to close things out here. The 2023 NCAA champ and this year's U.S. Indoor champ. Let's see if he's got the pop down. Oh, that is a good pop of the champagne right there by Kyle Garland. Putting it away and trying to make his second consecutive world championship team in just 3 weeks' time in Eugene. All right, let's back in on the long jump. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. We're in the 5th round. Carrie McLeod's second round 27-foot, half-an-inch jump, 8 meters 24 is still the best. Jeremiah Davis has moved up to second. The American went 26 feet, 7¼ inches. Will Williams is still third. A first-round jump of 8 meters even, or 26 feet and 3 inches has him there. But now Marquise Dendy's bumped him down a spot. That last one from Dendy, 26 feet, 10 inches, 8 meters 18. Dendy up into second ahead of Davis and behind McLeod. Nikolai Williams will jump next. Williams currently in 6th place. This is his 5th round attempt, 26 feet, 2¼ inches so far. Williams' best jump came in the 3rd round, and he needed it because he hadn't had a mark yet. And now his 3rd consecutive legal mark. See if he can improve on 7 meters 98, or 26 feet 2¼ inches.
Great opportunity to see a phenomenal athlete that we'll be seeing, of course, again at the U.S. Championships in a couple weeks' time in Eugene, Oregon, as we will see many.
Williams' mark is not an improvement, 25 feet 8 inches, 7 meters 82. So they're in the 5th round in the men's long jump. We'll check back in just a bit for the 6th and final round. Meanwhile, women's shot put is moving quickly into the 2nd round. Abby Moore has the lead early on, 62 feet and 4 inches. Abria Smith second, 61 feet and 1½ inches. And Majoy Williams is third, 59 feet, 2¼ inches. Akoma Otaluga, the current athlete in the ring. 20-year-old out of Munster, Indiana, the World U20 champion last year, who throws at Ole Miss. Looks like that one's out past the 18-meter mark, but she fouled. It was a foot foul inside the ring, so you won't get the measurement there. Here comes Jessica Woodard, veteran 30-year-old thrower out of Marlton, New Jersey. 8th the Olympic trials last year. Woodard currently in 5th place. Her best so far is 57 feet, 5¼ inches. Mentioned she's being coached by Darrell Hill, which is why he stepped away from the broadcast for a bit down there with his coach's hat on. He'll be back with us after the women's shot put. See Darrell there in his Penn State garb reviewing things. Now Jessica Ramsey, another one of the 60-plus Olympians in this field. She made the final in Tokyo. Ramsey in 7th after her first throw. Sails this one out to right around the 18-meter mark. Again, the current lead is 19 meters. That line you see there is at 18. And so that mark will be just a slight improvement for Ramsey. Should put her up into the top 4. Going to step aside quickly as they set the hurdles here. And when we come back, women's 100-meter hurdle final is coming up.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
Let me kiss this track right now.
Back in Memphis, the 9th annual Murphy Classic, named after the legendary Tennessee runner Ed Murphy. And now the Murphy Track Club does so much good for the youth here in Memphis. All the proceeds from this event go to their youth sport programs from the Memphis Track Club. Checking in on the women's shot put before we get to the women's 100 hurdles. Here's the current leader, Abby Moore. This is Moore's third round throw. And it's another long one. She has hit 19 meters even so far, 62 feet 4 inches. A foot foul here for Moore, the 27-year-old who has already set a new personal best. That 19-meter throw smashed her previous personal best. Peaking at the right time, the Oklahoma grad. Abria Smith will throw next. The 23-year-old was the NCAA runner-up and Big Ten champ at Illinois this year, throwing 18 meters 85 at NCAA Outdoors. Her best today, 18 meters 75 or 61 feet 6 1/4 inches, and that's another deep one. That could be a new lead. Mark is measured. As we wait for it to pop up, it is 18 meters 40, so short of that 19-meter line. No improvement, and she remains in second place. Nakoma Otaluga out to throw again. Throwing an Ole Miss just down the road here from Memphis, just a bit to our south in Oxford. And this unlikely to be a major improvement for Otaluga, who's currently in 7th place with a 55-foot 3-inch throw. Let's get you back to the track now. Women's 100-meter hurdles. You know, we have talked a bit about how it's that time of season where you're really trying to get primed and ready for USATF Outdoors if you're one of those American athletes hoping to make a world championship team. And a lot of these hurdlers have used today as a way to simulate what they'll see in Eugene when you run a semifinal and a final on the same day, because the majority of these women ran in the pre-program 100 hurdles about 2 hours ago. Laisha Johnson has already run 12:32 today with a legal win. Christina Clemens, Gabby Cunningham, and Destiny Huven all ran sub 12:60 in the pre-program as well, and they're back out here a couple hours later now for the main event, and a good way to test your body and see where you're at 3 weeks away from that day where you got to be at your best if you want to make a world championship team. Mention Johnson, the Paris Olympian who was 7th in the final. She highlights this field running in lane number 5. But let's run you through from the inside out. And we'll start in lane number 1 with Destiny Huven, who was an NCAA finalist at Arkansas this year. Already set a personal best with her mark in the pre-program earlier today. In lane number 2, it's Gabby Cunningham, Tokyo Olympian. She was a finalist there. She finished 7th in Tokyo, semi-finalist at Olympic trials last year. Amber Hughes, 30 years old, went to the World Indoors this year in the 60 hurdles. She runs out of lane number 3. Got another Tokyo Olympian in lane number 4, the 32-year-old veteran Christina Clemens, a semifinalist in Tokyo. She was 3rd at USATF Indoors this year. Next to Clemens is Johnson, who won the pre-program running 12:32, 6th fastest time in the world so far this year for Johnson, and only 100th of a second off her personal best coming in. Johnson, a finalist in Paris and the USATF Indoor champ a couple of years ago. In lane number 6, out of Ecuador, the 27-year-old South American record holder and Paris Olympian Maribel Caicedo. Lane number 7, Tokyo Olympic semifinalist, 29-year-old Jamaican Yannick Thompson. In lane number 8, wearing the colors of Howard University, the 23-year-old from London, Marcia Say, who was the NCAA runner-up in the 100 hurdles and was the MEAC champ in the 100 and runner-up in the 100 flat, MEAC champ in the 100 hurdles. And rounding things out, Ghana's Yvonne Britton, the 33-year-old who ran her personal best of 12:78 earlier this season. So again, from the inside out, it's Huven, Cunningham, Hughes, Clemens, Johnson, Caicedo, Thompson, Say, and Britton. If that pre-program was any indication as they stand the field up here, Johnson's in fabulous form, and her personal best might be attainable here. Ran 12:32 little more than an hour ago. And her best was at Olympic trials last year when she ran 12:31. Johnson will likely be pushed by Clemens to her inside. Caicedo just to her outside. Their way cleanly. Breeze really humming early. It's a great start for Clemens. She's out ahead of Johnson. Johnson's got work to do in the middle of the track here. Johnson gaining on Clemens. They're neck and neck over the final hurdle. Alicia Johnson accelerates ahead and takes it. 12:25 on the clock. We'll wait for the wind and see whether or not that's a new personal best for Johnson. Oh, it is 2.1 meters per second, so 1/10 on the wrong side of legal. Will not be a new personal best, but 12:27, a heck of a time for Johnson, who is in cracking form today with the win in both of her races. Clemens 12:39, Hooven 12:45 for third. No panic there from Johnson, trusted her form because Clemens got out better. Johnson had to work her way back through, took over on the final couple of hurdles, and carried that lead to the finish line.
For Alicia Johnson.
So again, that win 2.1 meters per second, so just a touch past legal. You got to think Johnson's still going to be very happy with how she ran. You see, she was behind early. You couldn't start much better than Clemens did. That's a good run for Clemens into second at 12:39. But Johnson stayed strong, gained incrementally the whole way, and took the lead. Destiny Hooven dropped her personal best in the pre-meet, running really well a couple hours ago with a legal wind. Here the wind was not legal, but outstanding work to go 12:45, so she'll feel good heading toward nationals as well. It's Johnson, Clemens, and Hooven, your top three. Thompson fourth, and Gabby Cunningham rounds out the top five.
Late in the game, in the fifth round, Marcus Dendy came through for second place with a jump of 8 meters.
Men's long jump wrapped up while we were finishing there. Kerry McLeod, the winner, ahead of Marquise Dendy in second, Jeremiah Davis in third. Will Williams and Emmanuel Archbold round out the top five in the men's long jump. We're looking at the women's shot put now. It is deep into the third round. Abby Moore still leads, 19 meters even, 62 feet and 4 inches. We'll get back to that shortly, but for now, let's check in once again with Serenity as she has Alicia Johnson.
Lay is here. Lay, where have you been? How has training been going with Coach Moel?
I mean, clearly it's been going good. I've been all over the world pursuing everything that my dreams are made of and making sure that I'm in a better mental health and physical health, dealing with thyroid issues. So I feel like me again.
You feel like you again? Good. Is it just because you ran fast? But talk about some of the things that you have been working on with your mental to just make sure that, you know, you were locked in for this race and locked in life.
Man, I got into therapy, and I encourage everybody, athlete, non-athlete, old, young, everybody to get into therapy and just really talk it out. Have somebody that can make sense of your thoughts and your emotions, and they talk me back into falling back in love with track.
You're falling back in love in track in the perfect time. How does this set you up good for USAs?
Y'all know I always come up for USA, so is it really, you know what I'm saying? Is it a surprise?
It's not a surprise. Congratulations on your win. Go ahead and celebrate.
Thank you.
Hey, can I say one thing real quick?
Of course you could.
So cool. Ladies,
So
this
really
is so
good
special
performance
because she came in last
by
year
Alicia
for
Johnson. Now she gets to pop the champagne.
She did.
3 hours she was supposed to be here. She laid with these kids for 5.5 hours. She cared so much. Stayed with the elite 2 weeks before the states. You're amazing.
I mean, that's what it's all about. All right, go ahead and celebrate.
All right, Alicia Johnson to pop the champagne here after picking up the win. She won both races today. Again, primed and ready to make a really tough team. That women's 100 team for the U.S. heading toward Worlds, the 100 hurdles, might be one of the, if not the toughest team to make with how many women are running so well in this event. A little flair on that from Alicia Johnson as she popped the bottle here as the champion at the Murphy Classic. Hurdles going up. Men's 110 hurdles coming up next. But But hey, we are in the thick of things in the women's shot put as well. 9 minutes from the start of the men's 110 hurdles. We promise we'll get you back for that. For now, let's check in on Abria Smith, who's currently in third place. The NCAA runner-up in shot this year. Smith in the fourth round. She's thrown 61 feet, 6 1/4 inches. Leader is still Abby Moore, her second round throw of 62 feet, 4 inches. Jessica Ramsey in second, 61 feet, 6 3/4 inches. No improvement for Smith in the fourth round. Here's Ramsey. She was third at USATF Indoors this year, 11th at World Indoors. Was the runner-up at the Murphy meet last year, trying to go one step higher here and win the Ed Murphy Classic this year. Ramsey's fourth throw, and she'll step out. Knew it was no improvement there, shy of the 19 or so meters she'll need to move to the top spot. She takes a foul. Now to Abby Moore. And what a competition for her so far. She's thrown 2 personal bests, including the leading throw of 19 meters even, 62 feet and 4 inches. This mark is out near there once again. See Alicia Johnson throwing some T-shirts to the crowd. Definitely knows how to play to the crowd. We got a good crowd tonight. Stands are full here at the Billy Murphy track on the campus of the University of Memphis. No improvement for Moore, but it was a third throw that was over her previous personal best, 18.64 this time around, 61 feet, 2 inches. So she's having the best series of her life as we head to the fifth round. Nakoma Odaluga, 2 throw in fifth place, entering this round, and a foul.
All right, track and field fans. So we have 7 minutes until our next race, which is the men's 110-meter hurdles. Women's shot is getting
Jessica Woodard will throw next.
fifth round now. Currently leading the way is Abby Moore.
I beg your pardon. First, we will see Onome Ogbeni,
2 feet and 4 inches.
currently in 7th place.
Here in Memphis is in second place currently at 18.
The Nigerian thrower picks up another foul. So she was legal on her first throw, 58 feet, 1 1/4 inches. She has fouled 4 consecutive times since. Now it's Woodard who will throw here for her fifth round. Her best throw came last round, 58 feet, 10 3/4 inches. And that's another legal mark, and that looked like it may have gotten out past the 18-meter mark. So it could be another improvement for Woodard as the veteran thrower tries to climb her way up the rankings. Oklahoma alum, where she was an NCAA runner-up and Big 12 champ in the shot put. And it is no improvement for Woodard, 17 meters 90, 58 feet, 8 3/4 inches. Now MyJoy Williams will throw, currently in 4th place. Best of 59 feet, 2 3/4 inches. Does not look like it'll be an improvement. She'll take the foot foul, knowing that one came up short. Gets us back to our top 3, starting with Abria Smith. 23 years old, out of Olympia Fields, Illinois, just wrapped up her throwing career for the Illini, where she really developed over her 4 years and capped it off with her career best performance to finish second at the NCAA Outdoor Championships. World leader is American Chase Jackson. She's thrown out 20 meters 95 this year, nearly the 21-meter mark, and will be the favorite when the top women all get together in Eugene in less than 3 weeks' time. No improvement for Smith. She remains in 3rd place. Ramsey and Moore still to throw in round 5. Jessica Ramsey, who was a bronze medalist at the NACAC Championships a few years back, in second as we hit the 5th throw of 6, and that was a good one. Claps her hands as she steps out of the ring. We'll see if she got close to Abby Moore's 19 meters even, or 62 feet and 4 inches. 18:57. No improvement for Ramsey, 60 feet 11 and a quarter inches, which means at round 5, Abby Moore is still on top. She's already thrown 3 throws out past her previous personal best today, and she fouls in round 5. Not going a little too quickly there and stepped out. Will send us to the 6th and final round. Moore leading, looking for a major win in her career. Each of the 7 athletes with their final throws to come. This is Akoma Otaluga, 20 years old, throwing at Ole Miss, again, World U20 champion. She couldn't hold her balance there. She fouls on her final throw, and she'll finish no better than 5th. I'll bring you how that wraps up in just a bit, but we got to get back to the track because now it is time for the men's 110-meter hurdles. Like we said with the women who just ran the 100 hurdles, a lot of these men ran earlier today in the pre-event program so that they could simulate a semifinal and a final. Eric Edwards was the best there, running a wind legal 13:20. Jaqueline Scott ran a wind legal 13:37 for second best in that preliminary round. Ty Brown will be in lane number 1, 25-year-old who ran at Arkansas and Kentucky. Lane number 2 belongs to Eric Edwards, mentioned his 13:20 earlier today. He was the semifinalist at Olympic trials last year. NCAA runner-up back in 2022, running at LSU. Next to Edwards in lane number 3, it is the South African John Adesolam. Ran at Houston this year where he was 3rd at NCAA Outdoors. Big improvement from his results at New Orleans his first 3 years, running for Carl Lewis's squad. Zachary Eckstein runs in lane number 4. Eckstein was the runner-up at NCAAs this year, running a personal best 13:13. Chandler, Arizona native, running for the University of Arizona. Jamal Britt runs in lane number 5. The 26-year-old was a winner at Grand Slam Philly this year in the Grand Slam Track League's 110-meter hurdles event, also second at the Doha Diamond League. Britt's run 13:07, best personal best in this field. Jaqueline Scott, the 23-year-old out of Houston, ran at Texas A&M where he was both a 110 and 400-meter hurdler. He was second in the 400 hurdles at NCAA Outdoors this year and 3rd in the 110 hurdles at NCAA Outdoors last year. Cameron Murray is in lane number 7. He's the 25-year-old out of Atlanta, Georgia. Made the Olympic trials finals last year, finishing 6th overall. Also runner-up this season in the 60 hurdles at USATF Indoors. Rasheem Brown out of the Cayman Islands runs in lane 8. The 25-year-old was the winner earlier this year at the Barbados Grand Prix and a 3-time Cayman Islands national champion. And in lane number 9, it's Max Hairston, a multiple-time Ivy League heptagonal champion running at Cornell, who will round out the field of 9. So again, from the inside out, Brown, Edwards, Adesola, Eckstein, Britt, Scott, Murray, Brown, and Hairston. Based off earlier today, you're going to want to have your eye on Edwards, who ran 13:20. Jamal Britt did not run in the pre-meets, so again, he's got the best resume, best personal best of everybody in this field. Keep your eye on the winner at the Grand Slam Track League Philadelphia event earlier this year. And again, in terms of form at the college level this year, definitely going to want to watch Zach Eckstein in lane number 4 and Jaqueline Scott in lane number 6. Yeah, the wind has been really favorable today. We've seen some great times already, including Mackenzie Long's world number 2 this year in the 200 meters. Cordell Tench, the world leader this year. Tench, the only person under 13 seconds this season. He's run 12:87. Trey Cunningham, world number 2 at 13 flat. Make it away well here. Eckstein out of the blocks first. Scott's there as well. Britt's got some work to do, but now he's even with Eckstein. It's Eckstein, Scott, Britt. Edwards running well. Britt moves forward, but at the end, Jaqueline Scott outleans him. Eckstein hit a hurdle deep in that race and went down. Jaqueline Scott inches out. Jamal Britt, 13:12. Just shy of his personal best. Now, it looked like Britt had it heading over that final hurdle. It is a 3.3 meter per second wind, so these are not legal times. But Scott leaned better than Britt there at the end, and that made a big difference for Jaqueline Scott, who took it through the line to take down Britt, who finishes second. Edwards finishes third, and then Brown, fourth and fifth. Zach Eckstein got away so well. He was leading through the midway point, but then hit a hurdle and went down. We're going to look here. See, Eckstein was in great positioning in the white of Arizona, but hit a hurdle and then ran through the next one. Looked for a moment like Britt had it, and then Scott was just smoother through as Britt was a bit off balance on those final few strides. And for Jaqueline Scott, in his first race since NCAA Outdoors, where he's second in the 400 hurdles and got DQ'd in the 110 hurdles. This has to be a nice surge back for him to win in front of a challenging group here. Mentioned in the women's 100 hurdles, Darrell, how hard it is to make the U.S. team. Same story in the men's 110 hurdles, where the top 4 times in the world this year have been run by Americans, and that does not even include Grant Holloway, who's yet to post an outdoor time like that.
Okay, track and field fans. Men's discus is approaching the closing stages. We are in the 6th and final round. Currently in the circle is Jacob Kui.
All right, let's go down to Serenity, who is with the winner here, Jaqueline Scott.
Courtesy of his third round throw of 64.87.
All right, big run. Huge congratulations to you. But we got to talk about NCAAs. That one was a tough one for you. You got disqualified, but you came back in the 400 hurdles as well. But even putting that behind you and coming out here to a professional event, what was the mindset?
I just want to show the world what I'm capable of. You know, I mean, it was unfortunate what happened, but I'm still blessed and highly favored. So I come out here and I do what I know how to do.
And how does this raise your confidence now?
It's just a stepping stone. I wouldn't say any confidence was raised because that's still not a PR, but it's close. But we still taking one step at a time.
Mechanically, what were you trying to work on out here?
Just getting my feet down. You got to go when you race against Jamal and Eric and them. You got to go. They're not going to play with you. So just get your feet down and just run in between the hurdles.
And what made you want to run in the earlier round as well?
Just because I haven't ran since like 3 weeks, and I didn't do too hot then, so I knew I had to come around here and turn it around. So I knew the competition would make me do that.
You want to try to do the 400 hurdles and the 110s at USA's?
Man, that's a good question, but you know how A&M say, talk soon. Talk soon.
Talk soon. All right, congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate.
Win for Jaqueline Scott, and he'll pop the champagne here as he edged out Jamal Britt, 13-12. For the NCAA runner-up in the 400 hurdles. He got a good pop, though. A good spray coming out there at the end for Jaqueline Scott, right at the finish line, too. So we'll keep our eye on that. Well, Jaqueline Scott will toss a few T-shirts to the crowd as well. He's the winner in the men's 110 hurdles. Coming up in just a bit, we get a look at Mo Nikolaev, the Tokyo Olympic champion, her second 800 of the season. The women's 800 meters is coming up in a few minutes here in Memphis.
4 months must be done on the baseball field or on the road. Please do not.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
track right now.
And we're back in Memphis at the Ed Murphy Classic. 9th edition of this event grew from just an event that was the Murphy Mile to now this track meet with more than 60 Olympians here. And a pleasure for us to be here with Darrell Hill, Bill Spalding. All right, Darrell, we saw you out there coaching during the women's shot put. Tell us what you saw up close and personal. Abby Moore with a personal best throw of 19 meters even, 62 feet 4 inches, gets the win ahead of Jessica Ramsey, and then Abria Smith rounds it out in third.
I was out there at the competition. I was there for the last couple warm-ups, and it was crazy because when I saw the women throwing what they were throwing, I was like, oh, my God, this is crazy. But what I learned was that the lines over there were a little off. I thought we were in for a world-class type of day, but Abby Moore, she looked great from the warm-ups in the first start of the competition all the way through the finish. 19 meters, first time over 19 meters for her. I know her personally. She's an Oklahoma grad. That was an awesome competition for her.
She's a great example of somebody to show, especially in these strength events, throwing events. You don't have to be a college superstar necessarily, because you look at her college resume, it is not full of national championships and conference championships, but she's continued to get incrementally better almost every competition, every month it seems like, and as you know, it's a sport where you hit your peak much later than some other events that we see out here.
There's a term going around called trackflation, and it seems to have also hit the field. The field events have really been taken off, particularly at the NCAA level with a lot of the younger kids at high school levels as well, but you still see that it takes time to really get that development, and if you can stay in the sport until you're 27, 28, 29, 30 and beyond, you really can start to see what your body is physically capable of. And Abby Moore and Jessica Ramsey, coming back after having a baby, they're both examples of, staying the course and true discipline.
And Jessica Ramsey took second, and the NCAA runner-up, Abria Smith, finished in third. There's a couple events going on in the field right now. Men's discus, Reggie Yeagers still has the lead ahead of the Olympic champion Rohe Stona and Mitch Weber, and the women's long jump is just getting underway. They're in the very early stages. Only 6 women have jumped so far. Jasmine Akins has the early lead, 21 feet and 3/4 of an inch ahead of Kayla Woods and Ainsley McElhaney. This is Tyra Gittens, the 2021 Olympian and former multi-superstar at Texas A&M. And it'll be a legal mark to start the competition up for Gittens as well. Chantel Malone, an Olympian from the British Virgin Islands in this field. Ruth Usoro, who is jumping for the first time since the Olympic Games in Paris, picked up a foul in her first attempt, but another athlete we're excited to see because we have not seen her since the Paris Games.
Yeah, that was one of the athletes I had on my list when I was coming here. I was like, what kind of shape is Ruth Osoro in, right? Like, first competition since the Olympics. When you're from a different country, you're not from the U.S., right? They're not getting ready for the U.S. championships. They're on a little bit of a different timeline, but when you see somebody in that first competition after a block of training, is she about to come out here and light the world ablaze? We've been talking a lot about Tara Davis and Malek Mahambo and women like that, but Ruth Osoro might have something to say. I'm excited to see what she's got.
Here's Chantel Malone, Tokyo Olympian, made the finals and finished 12th representing the British Virgin Islands, and she starts with a legal mark. It's a good point you make because it is a late World Championships this year, mid-September in Tokyo. So if you did not have to get yourself primed and ready for U.S. Nationals, which also are later than normal in late July, early August, you could just be starting your season now if your whole focus is on those Worlds in September. Part of the reason they're in September, it is hot and humid in Tokyo, as we saw in 2021 during the Olympic Games. Hopefully be a little less hot and humid in September. But it's delayed the outdoor season a bit. It's why this meet is before U.S. Nationals this year instead of after it like it has been in some recent years.
No, it is a really good way to think about it. And there's some athletes who are competing who have buys, who've won the last World Championship or won the Diamond League, who have an automatic bid, who are pacing their season just a little bit differently. So you've got a mix of all types of people at different stages of their seasons and career. We got Abby Moore doing the cork pop here, celebrating that 19-meter throw and a win in true thrower fashion.
I got to tell you, the shot putters know how to do the champagne celebration. Last year it was Trip Pippery, who we'll see later on, drinking the entire bottle after he gave us a pretty big pop, and that's maybe the best pop and chug we've seen so far today coming from Abby Moore there.
I think, like I was talking about with the pole vault last night, once the lights start getting low, I feel like those pops are going to start getting a lot louder, and we're going to, have a little bit more of that being drank as we start to have some more celebrations.
Here's Kayla Woods, currently in second place, just behind Jasmine Akins. In fact, tied for first place. They both jumped an identical 6 meters 42, 21 feet and 3/4 of an inch in their first round.
Got a white flag here.
All right, we'll get you ready next on the track because this is one of our highlight events here, the women's 800 meters. Running it through the whole field, we'll start with Nia Akins on the inside. Akins, 27 years old, out of San Diego, Paris Olympian, won Olympic trials last year. She's won 4 U.S. championships. Next to her, Kate Mitchell, the 25-year-old, former Boston College runner, still an assistant coach at Boston College. Veronica Hargrave wears hip number 3, freshman in Indiana this year, Big Ten runner-up in her freshman season. Sophia Guerrerian, the 20-year-old out of Harvard and the Ivy champion this year, wears hip number 4. So Guerrerian in 4. Olivia Baker runs out of lane number 5. South Orange, New Jersey native. Was a 400-meter runner in high school, switched to the 800 running at Stanford, and has had a heck of a career. Michaela Rose inside of her, 22 years old, the SEC champion in the 800 indoors and out, 4th at NCAA Outdoors this year at LSU. Wearing hip number 7, it is McKenna Keegan. And hey, let's talk about hip number 8. It is the 23-year-old Athing Mo Nikolaev, the American record holder, the Tokyo Olympic champ, the 2022 world champion. But coming off her first 800 in about a year where she ran 2:03.44, said it was just getting back to racing. She's a week later, back to racing. We'll see what she has in store for us as we watch her out of hip number 8. Shafiqua Maloney next to her, the 26-year-old from St. Vincent, Tokyo Olympian who's run sub 158. Paris Olympian as well. She finished 4th in Paris. The former U.S. record holder, 31-year-old Ajay Wilson, wears hip number 10. Rio and Tokyo Olympian semifinalists both times. Penn State Nittany Lion, Rachel Gearing, an indoor Big Ten champion, wears hip number 11 to round out the field. And Taya Shelby will run the first 400 meters to try and pace this group to a fast time.
I think talked a lot after her last race. She said, I'm so glad that I'm not really beat up about the way this race went. I'm just getting my season started, so looking to see her take another step forward here in Memphis.
Away we go. Again, it's been a crazy last year for Athing Mo Nikolaev. She's talked about the mix of emotions, the disappointment of Olympic trials last year with the fall in the final. But in the last year, she's also gotten married. She's in a great place there. Ran a lot of longer distance events earlier this season. And then that first 800 in almost a year run at the Prefontaine Classic last year. She ran in the back of the pack most of that race. Good to see her running right out in front along with the 4th place finisher in Paris last year, Shafiqua Maloney, who has the lead behind the pacer here.
That was exactly what I was looking to see, how she went about the first half of this race. Like you mentioned, at Prefontaine, she went straight to the back. She goes back home with her coach. Now she's out in the front looking to take control of this race early on.
So it is Maloney, Mo, Wilson, your top 3, and then Akins moving her way up behind them. See how fast these women have gone out here as we hit the 400-meter mark, right around 56.5 seconds, right on pace for where they were supposed to be. The pacer has stepped off, and it is Maloney in the lead. Mo still there, sitting in 2nd. Wilson just to her outside. Akins is there as well. Maloney separating, and Mo Nikolaev hasn't been able to match it yet. Shafiqua Maloney, who was 5th at the Prefontaine Classic, running 1:58.49 last week, has opened it up with 200 meters to go.
She looks really good driving down this back straight. She was behind the pacer the whole time, and almost like the race was set up just for her. She looks strong coming off this curve, but you see Ajay and I think starting to make a move here. We'll see if they can close the gap as they come down the last 100 meters.
So Maloney leading as they make the turn here. Maloney still well in front. Wilson and Mo shoulder to shoulder. Baker behind her. Shafiqua Maloney and Ajay Wilson pulling ahead 1-2. It is a dominant final lap for Shafiqua Maloney. Might have gone sub 1:58. Wilson takes 2nd. And a hard close for 3rd as Mo faded back a bit. 1:58.13 for Shafiqua Maloney. Wilson under 2 minutes, 1:59.53 for 2nd. And Rachel Gearing closed really strong to go 1:59.70 for 3rd. McKenna Keegan into 4th. meet record for Maloney and also a Tennessee all-soil record. We keep track of that here at this meet. Fastest time ever in Tennessee run by Maloney. You know, for a thing, Monique Alayev, it was a good first 400 running from the front. Didn't have that next gear yet, though, when Maloney picked up the pace. Mo Nikolaev ends up in 6th, 3 seconds faster than last week.
I feel like there's a few different storylines here. If you want to talk about our thing, okay, so she started off strong, she got to the front, but she hasn't raced in a while, but she still dropped 3 seconds off of her season's best. So you always talk about when you get to the U.S. National Championships, it's going to be 3 rounds. She's going to be somebody that I think those rounds are really going to pay dividends for as she starts to build on. But how about I.J. Wilson? This has got to be one of her best times in a few years. She looked good, and obviously Rachel Gearing in third place. We are Penn State. Got to celebrate that.
But it's Maloney who dominates, especially on the back half, and after the win, she gets to spend some time with Serenity.
All right, Shafika, congratulations on your huge win. You went out in 56.5 if you didn't know. You were a woman on a mission. Was that your race strategy?
You know, I'm a sprinter at heart, and so I always knock and go out. The thing is, no matter what the pace is on the 400, you can't panic. You just got to go with the rhythm, and I got to 400. I felt good. I just kept going with it.
I mean, yeah, you set your own rhythm, and it was a tough field out here. You have Olympic champions, you have world champions. Did you try to make sure they didn't get in your head about that, and you just knew what you needed to do to execute?
As an athlete, it's important to just come out here and run your race, and that's what I came out here and did. I can't worry about who else is in the race. I could only worry about me. That's what I came out here and did.
And would you say you're happy with your win? What do you want to go back and fix? You're smiling.
I was hoping to run 157, but you know it'll come in time.
I wanted to run 157. You can't always know. You did absolutely fantastic, Shafiqua. Go ahead and celebrate.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So Maloney was 4th in the Olympics last year and has put a couple of really solid times on her docket already this season. So expect her to be a contender in Tokyo. Mentioned Ajay Wilson looking like she wants to make another U.S. team. Strong sub 2-minute run there. And Rachel Gearing announcing her presence going sub 2, 159.70. You mentioned it for Mo. You can look at it a couple different ways. Showed an improved first half, shaved 3 seconds off her personal best, and now has a couple weeks to go back to the lab with Bobby Kersey before the U.S. Nationals.
I think when you start talking about elite level athletes like that, you've got to have the perspective. You know, when you're talking about our thing, she's one of the most dominant athletes we've truthfully ever seen. So you're always going to leave the benefit of doubt out there for somebody like that you know how special they are. And if you see the progress and they're progressing towards the meet that they're working for, you always want to keep one eye open, because if she is in shape and she gets comfortable, she's dominant.
Maloney tossing some T-shirts to the crowd here again. Big crowd on hand once again here at this meet, which has grown every year, and the athletes rewarding the work of the Ed Murphy Classic group to bring a crowd here, bring a field here, and they keep on coming back. Let's check in on the women's long jump. We're into the 3rd round now. Jasmine Akins just improved on her leading mark, 22 feet and 1/4 of an inch, 6'71". Here's 2nd place, Sydney Willits, the 22-year-old from Glenville, Illinois, an NCAA indoor champ at Iowa State last season. Her best this year was just a few weeks ago, 6'60". Was into a headwind at the Music City Carnival. Now she's got the tailwind behind her here.
That was a good-looking jump.
Yeah.
We got a legal mark here. This competition hasn't taken off all the way early on. We're only through the first 3 rounds, and I'm excited to see what we got here. But that was a good-looking jump from Sydney.
Yeah, you mentioned the global picture right now. Co-world leaders, Malika Mahimbo and Tara Davis-Woodhull, both 7'07", the world lead at this point. How about Davis-Woodhull last week at Prefontaine Classic? Doing what she does so often, saved her best for last and jumped to the win in that 6th and final attempt. She likes the drama.
When you talk about highlight superstars in our sport, Tara is absolutely one of them, and that performance in the last round at Prefontaine was exactly why we view her as such. Elite jumper on the home soil, U.S. You always want to get that win at Prefontaine, and she was able to come through.
Here's Nigeria's Ruth Usoro. Again, we mentioned this is her first competition since last year's Olympics. 2 jumps behind her so far. Her best is only 19 feet, 11.5 inches as she tries to work her way back into competition. She's in 7th place. Here's her 3rd jump. And it is a foul for Usoro. So she'll remain in 7th place. Got the men's 800 coming up in a bit, but we've talked a bit about the mission of the Ed Murphy Track Club. Let's show you what we're talking about here, all the good work that they do in Memphis.
The Murphy Track Club was formed to provide Memphis and local elementary, middle, and high school athletes with no-cost track and field coaching and team experience. Our mission is to uplift and provide opportunities for all kids, especially those in the area of need in our city. Proceeds from the Ed Murphy Classic help us fulfill the mission of our club.
Where are we at today?
Murphy Track Club.
Yeah, what's your favorite part of the Murphy Track Club?
The track, because I like running.
Chance to get better during the summer, because most people during the summer they're just sitting around, not doing nothing, and just getting lazy. But I'm improving. Why?
This summer it was like a free training camp. It got me way better, you know. It got me experience. I qualified. It got me real far, and just worked very hard. And yeah.
That's why we're all here, because this event raises money to fund those youth programs for the Murphy Track Club, and so exciting to see all these great athletes come out and show these kids what a little bit of hard work, a little bit of talent, some great coaching can do. As we'll check back in here on the women's long jump, but before we discuss the long jump, got to talk about the men's discus, which just went final, Darrell. Reggie Jagers gets the victory, the U.S. Olympian, 212 feet 10 inches ahead of the reigning Olympic champion, Roy Stona, who threw 210 feet even. Mitch Weber rounds out the top three and third, but that's a big win for Jagers ahead of the reigning Olympic champion, Roy Stona.
A lot of people are going to look at their result and say, what? But there's a common theme that's been going on today on the track and in the jumps, and we haven't talked about it as much as the throws because it doesn't affect the shot put. It's the wind. And people talk a lot about the wind and the discus and how beneficial it can be, but the most important part is which direction is the wind coming from. There's one thing that's special about Reggie Jagers. Well, there's a lot of things special about him, but what's relevant to this conversation is he's left-handed. And the wind is coming across very strongly across the left sector line for the discus throw, and that is a very beneficial thing for a left-handed thrower. And as you see, the rest of the field struggling just a bit. So when you see Roger Stoner with 64 meters in a very difficult right-handed wind, that's a strong performance for him. But obviously, the wind favored the lefty today, and Reggie was able to capitalize.
It's been an interesting year for Stona as well, as he's decided to change his nationality to Turkey, which means he'll be ineligible to compete at the big world events until the Olympic Games in 2028. So at this point, you kind of can look at it as a 3-year training block.
Sure.
Of course, wants to win as many events as he can, but his next major international event will be those 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles. He's one of a couple of Jamaican athletes who, in the field, made the move to Turkey last month.
Yeah, Roger is coached and training partners alongside with Ryan Krauser, the world record holder in the shot put, greatest of all time. So he's had some really positive direction. Obviously, he was able to capitalize on, the Olympics and winning an Olympic gold medal last year. But as you said, they do have a long-term view, and I think he's going to be building towards a Diamond League championship this season, obviously, because he will be sitting out, and preparing for 2028. But, that's business.
Women's long jump is through 3 rounds. They're rearranging the order now, but the leader after round 3 is Jasmine Aiken, 6 meters 71, or 22 feet and a quarter of an inch. Sydney Willits and Kayla Woods round out the top 3. Tyra Gittins currently in 4th, Chantel Malone in 5th, and it's Aislinn McElhaney, Ruth Usoro, and Tiana Tobias. Meanwhile, back on the track, it is the men's 800 meters coming up next. We have 11 athletes plus a pacer in this field as well, after we just saw Shafiqua Maloney win that women's 800 meters ahead of Ajay Wilson, who took 2nd. Men's 800 is next. Then we'll have the women's 400 hurdles. Men's 400's coming up in about a half hour. That's going to be a great one with Stephen Gardner leading the way. And one of the stories of last year's Olympic Games, the teenager Quincy Wilson, now just 17 years old, also runs in that men's 400 meters. Got the women's 15 and the Murphy men's 1500, and then the men's 100 and women's 400 round out the field. Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni, unfortunately, under the weather today, so she will not run in that women's 400, but it's still a fantastic field, including Britton Wilson, who dealt with injury issues last year, that's on her way back and trying to get to that form where in 2023 she was one of the best quarter-milers and 400 hurdlers in the world during that year. So we'll get a look at Wilson and a couple other of the top women's 400-meter runners like Lena Irby-Jackson, Leah Butler out there. Going to be exciting to see that women's 400 coming up in a bit. But here's the field now for the men's 800 meters. Highlight a couple, and then we'll walk you through the lane by lane once they get lined up. We'll get a look at Isaiah Jewett, who was a breakout star in 2021 at the Olympic trials. You see him there wearing hip number 11. Jewett was a Tokyo Olympian who fell in the semifinals in Tokyo, but he won the trials that year. sometimes you hit a mark like that. You have a season like that. It's hard to find it again. And for Jewett, he's been really trying to get back to that form. He hasn't dropped under 144 since that season. Last year was the first year he dropped under 145 since that season. So trying to work his way back to his best form. But the thing that's great about being an athlete like him is it's there. You just got to find it again.
Track is such an emotional sport. We talk about what these athletes put in on a day in, day out basis to try to prepare themselves to compete at the highest level. And you talk about how great he was, and obviously he's still the same athlete, but things change and situations change, whether it be coaching or sponsorships and business and family. So trying to streamline that and just find your ground again can be a little bit challenging, but I'm glad to see him back out here on the track, and I think he's going to put together a good race today.
All right, let's run you through the whole field. Hip number 1 belongs to Sean Dolan, 24 years old, out of Ewing, New Jersey, NCAA indoor runner-up at Villanova last year, a 9-time Big East champion. Hip number 2, South Africa's Reinhard Swanepoel, who ran at Wake Forest, was 4th at ACC Outdoors this year, was the ACC runner-up last season. He's got some great range. He also has been an NCAA cross-country runner at cross-country finals. Hip number 3, Abduali Hassan, 22 years old, running at Mississippi State this year, the SEC runner-up in the 800, also NCAA indoor runner-up. Next to Hassan, it is Mehdi Yanuri, the 25-year-old who ran at Oklahoma State and was part of their distance medley relay championship team last year. Cass Elliott's next to him, another 25-year-old semifinalist at the Olympic trials, mainly a 400 hurdler when he ran at the University of Washington, Pac-12 champ back in 2023 in the 400 hurdles. Luciano Fiore wears hip number 6 out of Bayshore, New York, an alum of Siena and a member of the Atlanta Track Club. Camden Marshall wears hip number 7, still just 22 years old, Big Ten runner-up at Indiana, 9th at NCAA Outdoors last year. It's Camden Marshall. Tyrese Taylor wears hip number 8, 23-year-old out of Linstead, Jamaica. He is the reigning Jamaican champion and an Arkansas Razorback. Hassan Abidi, who won the America East Championship at Albany, Tunisia native, runs out of hip number 9. Hip 10, keep your eye on Christian Jackson, still just 21 years old, ACC champ, 7th at NCAAs. Running for Virginia Tech this year, and wearing hip number 11, we've already talked about him, Isaiah Jewett, the Tokyo Olympian. Best this year, 146. See how he can massage that time, maybe drop that time here, and where his form lies a few weeks out from the Olympic Games. I mean, again, 800-meter running, another one of those events globally where the times are falling, and that includes Josh Hoey, the American, who's run 142 this year. Only Emmanuel Wanyoni has been faster than him this season. So you're going to have to be fast to make that U.S. team.
I cannot believe what the men's 800 meters has become. It is crazy. 141, we're seeing them multiple times. It's crazy.
Clay Pender is the pacer out there, so he takes the lead around the corner. Abidi in a good spot on the outside. Jewett's kind of settled toward the back of the pack. Sean Dolan is positioned well, as is the Arkansas runner Tyrese Taylor. That's Cass Elliott in the green and navy blue, who's ahead of Abidi. They're the first two behind the pacer here. Then it is Tyrese Taylor, Fiore, and Hassan, all in that lead group.
Just like in the women's race, we see Cass Elliott here controlling it right behind the pacer. We'll see if he has the same luck, if he can hold that form as he go down and the pacer steps off the track.
Meanwhile, Isaiah Jewett is still near the back, so he's got a lot of work to do. The pacer's off the track. 50.9 was the 400-meter split. Elliott still has the lead, but here comes the heat from Hassan of Canada, the former Mississippi State Bulldog. Abduhili Hassan, who also ran at Wisconsin in his college days, has some juice here, and he's going. Sean Dolan trying to come from the back there in fourth. Looks like he has a little juice as well. It is Hassan and Dolan now your top two, with Hassan still ahead. Abduhili Hassan, SEC runner-up this year. Few more strides to go. Here comes Tyrese Taylor moving late. Is he going to run out of space? Yes! Abduhili Hassan holds off in 1:46.16 unofficially.
Tyrese Taylor just left it a little too late. He made his move. He was firing down the home stretch, but he ran out of real estate. You mentioned Hassan and his strength from cross country, and that's what I saw take over once they got to about 175 coming around that curve. He looked strong. He took the league, and he never relinquished it.
1:46.16 for the Canadian Hassan, 1:46.46 Tyrese Taylor. Sean Dolan in third at 1:46.52, and Christian Jackson rounds out the top four. Still a lot of work for Isaiah Jewett to do between now and U.S. Nationals. He comes in ninth, 1:50.27.
Listen, I'm always an optimist, so I'm never writing anybody off. But, we got a couple weeks, and it's time to start, reeling those things in, dialing down the training, and get ready for arduous 800 meters, because you got a couple of them, and the guys have been running extremely well. Bryce Hoppel has also been coming along strong, too, so it's going to be tough.
We are on the border of Mississippi here in Memphis, so Abdihili Hassan has some experience with this southern heat and humidity, and he ran it well. Gets the win. He's with Serenity.
All right, Hassan, out here in your Mississippi State jersey, my guy, you just graduated. You out here in a pro race. I mean, what's going through your head being one of the youngest guys out here?
Yeah, I mean, this field, I've raced against these guys multiple times. I kind of know how they race. And before the meet, looked through the names and really thought about my tactics and decided to sit back a little bit and start moving at 400, and that's what I did, and I was able to get the win, so happy about it for sure.
And then it was a huge hug from Isaiah Jewett at the end there. Talk about that relationship and just describe the camaraderie in the men's 800.
I mean, for sure. He's actually my training partner. So we have a group out in Mississippi State. There's a professional group, Epic, Apex. If you guys ever want to see the best 800 meter group in the country, it's Apex. We got Marco Arob, world champion Budapest, silver medalist at the Olympics. So we have a really great group of guys out there. So yeah, Apex.
All right, Apex, shout out to you. Congratulations on your win, Hassan. Go celebrate. Yeah. Bill?
So Abdihili Hassan is the winner in the Mike Cody Men's 800 Invitational. See if he turns this speed here into some success at the Canadian Nationals this month in advance of the World Championships. Next on the track will be the women's 400-meter hurdles. That's coming up about 10 minutes' time. Gives us ample time now to look back in on the women's long jump. They are in round 5. Jasmine Aiken still is the leader. See, Ruth Asora really struggling with her timing here. That's the third time we've seen her run through the pit today.
Yeah, and those are the type of things that show up when you don't have as many competition reps. So, the first competition out, trying to find your way on the board. It's also windy, right? So now if the wind's at your back and your speed's a little off, so that's what she looks like. Is she's trying to just see, where am I on the runway? She looks fit, but she can't find the board just quite.
So Aikens is the leader, 6 meters 75, 22 feet 1 3/4 inches. Tyra Gittens has moved up into second with her 4th round jump of 22 feet 1/4 inch, 6 meters 71. Sydney Willett in 3rd place. She had a 4th round improvement up to 6 meters 59 or 21 feet 7.5 inches.
Half the field improved in round number 4, so the women are starting to find their footing a little bit and get comfortable on the runway. So we'll see if we got some bigger jumps coming in rounds 5 and 6.
Aislinn McElhaney, who's in 5th place with her 4th round jump of 20 feet 8.5 inches. That was her 5th jump now, and we'll see if she has any improvement. Kayla Woods is in front of her in 4th, and Willett's in 3rd, Gittens and Aikens.
I see we pulled the tape out. We're done with the laser here in the long jump.
Old school in the pit here. We love it.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it because it's accurate. Like sometimes those lasers, they can be a little funky, and as a meet promoter, you don't want to slow down a competition. So sometimes the best decision is to pull the tape out and let's get some official marks.
Chantel Malone is currently in 6th place, is jumping next. Just saw a few Tennessee Volunteers walk past us. Just wanted to mention, if you weren't with us right off the top of the show, maybe the most impressive performance so far today came in the pre-program from a Tennessee Volunteer, as we'll see Malone's 5th round jump here. T-Mars McCallum ran 9.87 in the 100. That was aided by a 2.1 meter per second wind. But then he ran a wind-legal, world-leading 1973 in the 200 in the pre-program. McCallum had a heck of a season at Tennessee and trying to extend that form through this long season, a few more weeks and He runs 1973. He's going to challenge at Nationals.
You know what it was earlier today? It was even hotter. Now, the weather's perfect right now, but it was really hot out here. So I can tell, we talked about Mackenzie Long and how well she ran in the 100 meters of the pre-program. So the athletes feeling really good. And we had Jason Shears run a 1085 in the pre-program at Prefontaine. But we've got so many elite athletes that you're going to have elite athletes who don't make the main section. So it was great to watch him run.
Here's Tyra Gittens, 5th round jump. Gittens has moved up into 2nd place. This will be a legal mark here for Gittens. Another one of those athletes, similar to what we talked about with Isaiah Jewett, that is looking to find some previous magic. Gittens Spotsville out of Trinidad and Tobago set the Trinidad and Tobago national record in the long jump back in 2021. Was a Tokyo Olympian, finished 10th in the long jump. Remember, in college at Texas A&M, won 3 national championships, 2 in the multis, 1 in the high jump. She's moved away from the multis, really just focused on the long jump and looking to get back to where she was at in 2021 as we see Reggie Jager celebrate that discus win. I notice, even though he's a southpaw, he popped the champagne with the right hand there. You got to keep the throwing hand safe.
Always. Got a little discus throw here, getting the shirts out to the crowd. Reggie is the true man of the people. You were talking about Tyra, and I thought it was interesting. This is a really common thing that I see sometimes with athletes who tend to do a lot of events. Sometimes it's long jumpers who also sprint, and they drop the other event because they want to put a lot of focus in on one and spend more time. But sometimes what you see is the benefits of the other events was allowing you to maintain a different style of fitness. So I'll be interested to see if Tyra can find her footing here, as she moves into the competition.
All right, well, there's Reggie Jagers. You can see Serenity getting in position after Jagers with the big win in the men's discus, beating the reigning Olympic champ, Rohei Stone. So let's go down into the infield and hear from Reggie Jagers about how this event played out for him.
Looks like they're about ready to go.
Serenity getting her selfies. Very on brand.
All right, they're down to Serenity now.
All right, Reggie, it was a stiff competition out there for you. You were competing against Olympic champions. I mean, people who have competed at Worlds, but how did that feel for you? How do you feel like you executed?
I feel like it's another competition where I was able to execute. I would say last week I couldn't bend over because I had a back injury. To not practice for a week and just do drills and be able to compete at the LA Throws Cup last night, fly in at 1 a.m., come in today and compete and get first place. And some of the other competitors came to the meet as well, and they weren't able to open up as much to compete how I did today. So I think it shows a testament to training, believing in the process, and also getting healthier. So we had a full Olympic crowd as well. We had a few other Olympians that were competing with me, so it was a happy environment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was tough out there for you, but how does this set you up really good for USA's?
Yeah, I think I finally found my technique. My back hasn't been hurting as much in the past few days, and I can really execute my technique and get it done. So I think that's the hard part, being able to go full go without hurting yourself and be able to relax and just execute your technique. And that's been disappointing all year to deal with an injury, but I guess it's perfect timing right now.
Well, congratulations. Rest up.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, Bill.
All right, great stuff from Reggie Jagers down there with Serenity. And now we're set for the women's 400-meter hurdles. Here is the full field. Ashley Miller, the 27-year-old from Zimbabwe, is in lane number 1. Lane 2 belongs to 34-year-old Cassandra Tate, bronze medalist back in 2015 at the World Championships. Bianca Stubler, who ran collegiately at Wisconsin, runs out of lane number 3. Abby Glynn is in lane 4. Glynn, 24 years old, ran at Colorado, where she was a Pac-12 runner-up. Alana Jukic, an Olympian from Australia, is in lane 5. She made the semis in Paris last year. Tia Donabell in lane 6, a 2-time Olympian semifinalist in Tokyo. She represents Barbados. Sneak Walker of Jamaica, 25 years old, 4th at this year's Jamaican Championships, is in lane 7. It's Sanaya Hebron in lane number 8, still just 20 years old, 4th at NCAA Outdoors this year. And Robin Brown out of the Philippines, the Asian champ in 2023, runs in lane 9. All right, away they go in the women's 400-meter hurdles. You look across this field at the marks they've put up this year, it kind of feels like a wide-open 400 hurdles. Right now it is Bell who has gotten away best. In the blue from Barbados, Tia Donabell, the 2-time Olympian, has the lead.
And it looks like Cassandra Tate is starting to make up some of the stagger down this backstretch.
So it's Bell and Tate. Tate on the inside in 2, Bell in the middle there in 6. They're your top 2 as they come around the bend, and it is very close the moment between Tate and Bell. Cassandra Tate, a decade removed from her World Championship medal, trying to get back on a World Championship team. She is fading here, and Bell has moved clear to the front. Tia Adana Bell, basically wire to wire, she takes it. Alana Jukic and Ashley Miller closed hard in a race for second and third.
That was a good-looking race from Bell. Like you said, she got out early. She was controlling it. Yes, Cassandra Tate was making her way down on the backstretch, but she was on the inside, so truthfully, Bell never felt her. To her, she was in control of the race the entire time, and as she got to hurdles 9 and 10, it was just a matter of if she was going to stay up and keep those hurdles on the ground, and she looked good.
You see why she's happy. Season's best, not far off her personal best, 54.67 for Tia Adana Bell. Alana Jukic with a new personal best, 55.04, beats her personal best by 700ths, and Ashley Miller, 55.09. That's a new Zimbabwe record. She breaks her own national record by almost a full second.
Can we get a couple different champagnes to pop out here? We got a lot of celebration for this race.
So Bell with the W. Jukic and Miller second and third. Sneak Walker fourth. Bianca Stubler was fifth. Cassandra Tate came out so strong, ends up fading to seventh. And you know, that's the bear of the 400 hurdles. If you don't measure it just right, you get a piano on your back those last 100 meters or so.
Yeah, I don't envy these ladies as they come down the finishing stretch at 400-meter hurdles. Like, I love the 400-meter hurdles. It's actually one of my favorite events to watch, but I know how grueling it is. I talk to the athletes all the time, and they talk about the last 120 meters, the last 3 hurdles. That is some of the hardest running in track and field.
Particularly when you're running personal bests, or for Tia Adana Bell, one of her best times since 2019. For the two-time Olympian. We'll give her a chance to drink the Gatorade before she goes and talks to Serenity, who's going to sit down next to her. And you know, you got to meet the athletes where they're at. Going to give her a minute here before they chat.
Sixth and final round. Johnson Aiken still leading the way. 6:75.
Well, Bell was running multiple world championships, two-time Olympian, 6-time Barbadian national champ, with the win here. And held it from the front basically the entire way. That's not an easy way to run that 400-meter hurdles, front running the entirety of it. Good run for Jukic as well, who looks to go back to the World Championships representing Australia. All right, they're going to do it from the track. Serenity down on the ground with Tia Adana Bell.
All right, representing Barbados. How do you think this win sets you up really, really good to just represent your country?
I mean, it's always an honor to represent the 246. This win is not only for me, but my country, my coach, Coach Holloway. But, you know, just happy to be out here again, competing, rapping. Yeah.
And you were fighting for it coming off of that last hurdle. What was going through your head?
Keep it together and do not chip, go into the hurdles, stay open, and run. That was my goal.
And what are some things that you still want to work on when you go back to practice?
You know, we have a race plan, and I didn't do it today, but I'm not mad. I'm just happy to get a 54 and a qualification standard for Worlds, so I think, and I'm good.
Well, you know what comes after 54? 53, my girl.
And 52, and 51.
Period. Congratulations on your win today.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
All right, Bill, back to you.
All right, Serenity, thank you. And love that. Meeting Tiana where she was at there after a fabulous run. Hey, now we got another bottle of champagne to hand out. We're down to our final 3 attempts in the women's long jump. Jasmine Akins has led since round 1. She is still on top. This is Kayla Woods, is currently in 5th place with a best of 21 feet 3/4 of an inch. To win, she needs to be 22 feet 1 3/4 inches. Tyra Gittens is second, 22 feet 1/4 of an inch. Sydney Willits, who is yet to jump in round 6, is third. Who's going to be next to pop the champagne after Tia Adana Bell? For the moment, it looks like Akins, unless Sydney Willits has something to say about it. No improvement for Woods. She'll finish 5th. Ainsley McElhaney has locked up 4th place. Willits, the only one left who can pass Akins, and to do it, she'd need a personal best.
So she's crawling on the crowd. No better time than right now. Let's get the crowd into it. We've got a good environment here at the Murphy Classic, and we'll see if she can put together some magic in round number 6.
She would need 1 centimeter added to her personal best to match Aikens, a 2 centimeter personal best to pass her. It's a legal jump.
We got a
now
white
we'll
flag.
just see if it's long enough.
Step number 1 is get a white flag. Step number 2 is she wait alongside of us to see what we got on the board.
And it is not an improvement, so Willits finishes third, Tyra getting second, and it's a victory lap now for Jasmine Aikens, whose best today, 6'75", is a new personal best for the Oklahoma Sooner alum and SEC indoor champion this year.
I want to correct that. That was actually an improvement for her, just not quite enough.
I beg your pardon, 6'62" to lock her up into third place. And now it's Aikens on a victory lap. Improvement in distance, no improvement to positioning for Willits. Gittens with 2 strong jumps in the final 3 rounds got second, and Aikens on the back of her 4th round jump, 22 feet 1 3/4 inches, is the winner here at the Ed Murphy Classic. Again, for Oklahoma, they made the jump to the SEC this year. Obviously a step up in track and field competition. Aikens was an SEC champion indoors this year in the long jump, and now winning here at the Murphy meet.
When you talk about being a champion of a conference like that, that speaks to the quality of competitor that Jasmine Aikens is. So congratulations to her. I can't wait to see her get down there with Serenity because she's got to pop some champagne here soon.
All right, here's what's left in the field right now. They just got women's discus off and running. It's another good field. We'll keep our eye on that throughout it.
Yes, it is.
With one of the best discus throwers in the world right now, Lagi Tusaga, the world champion a couple years ago, throwing in that field. So certainly we'll keep our eye on that. Men's shot put will start around 8:15, and we mentioned all the guys coming off personal best last week at Prefontaine Classic. I think we're going to see throws well out over 22 meters here to win it today. And men's triple jump will start in a bit after they go through their warm-up here on this pit. Will Clay was a late add to this field, so it'll be interesting to see where his form is at right now, joining U.S. Olympians Russell Robinson, Salif Mane, and Donald Scott in this men's triple jump field, which will be next on this runway. Again, remember, with the wind, decided to run everything on this runway here today, and that's why we've staggered the horizontal jumps.
I actually took an Uber to the track here with Will Clay, so I got a chance to talk to him a little bit about how he's feeling. He was supposed to head to the Diamond League in Monaco, but his plane got canceled. His flight got canceled, so he was a late addition to this competition, but he says it feels like a divine intervention, and that this is exactly where he feels like he needs to be. So you see him on the screen right now with that big old customary smile, and I'm excited to see what he puts together on the runway.
All right, let's check back in with Serenity. She's on the infield with a special guest.
We're going to give it a second. We're going to give it a breather. I have Coach Joe Lee joining me from Bullis High School. He's the head coach, and he is Quincy Wilson's coach as well. I see you giving him some words of encouragement, help him around. Take us through what race day looks like for somebody like a young athlete like Quincy Wilson.
I mean, we don't try to do anything differently than we normally do for all of our athletes for our program. We try to keep it consistent. We try to keep it the same, where it's simplified, where it gets inside of them so they don't have to guess when the bigger meets come. So obviously he's been to the biggest meet on planet Earth. So, we don't do anything different. So my main thing now is to make sure that he is good, he feels good. We've got a great staff. Dr. Sherrill's here to make sure that he's good with him physically. My job is to make sure that mentally he feels good, emotionally, and he attacks our race plan. So he's ready to go. I'm excited about the atmosphere. It's a great energy here, great vibe in Memphis, and we're going to see what we see.
All right, Coach. Now, what were you telling him to attack in this race out here today? The wind has definitely calmed down, which is pretty good too.
Yeah, so we have a race strategy, a race plan that we go over, every single day in practice, and then we talk it through. So the mental reps are critical. So the main thing is to attack it and to do the exact things that we know we can do. And he's ready to do that because we have elongated this season on purpose, because obviously our goal is to run much deeper into the summer and into the fall, because World Championships are in September. So the main thing is just being aggressive, but at the same time be smart and don't allow the environment to overwhelm you. the fun part for him, even as a 17-year-old, he's now a veteran. This is not his first rodeo, as they say. So, it sounds crazy to say a 17-year-old is a veteran, but what he is he's very focused, he's very disciplined, and he's been here before. So it's high competition. I mean, it's a phenomenal field, including the 2020 Olympic champion, gold medalist. But competitors want to compete. It doesn't matter who's on the track, and he's a competitor. So we train so that he can get the very best out of his talent and his abilities, and I think that's what we're going to see today.
And that Olympic champion that you mentioned is Stevie Gardner. And what do you tell him? Because I'm sure on any other day it's like, can I get your autograph, Stevie? But now it's like, I need to beat you.
No, he's not an autograph guy. I mean, he really respects his opponents, but again, they're also his peers. I know it sounds crazy, but at 16 years old, he's running he's running grown man times. That was his famous quote. And what we want to do is just make sure we stay in our own lane, focus on what we're trying to do with each segment of the race, and whoever's there or not there, it really doesn't matter. This is not a contact sport. I have to be looking over my shoulder. Obviously, there are people in the race with you, but you got to do what works for you. I'm sure Stevie would say that. Same thing for Elijah and the rest of the guys in there, Bryce as well. And it's all about who can maintain their composure. I love the 400 because it's the ultimate test of will, because if you go out too slow, you're going to get left. If you go out too fast, you're going to get blasted. So the race plan is set up, and again, this is our first time running against pros outdoor season, so we're looking forward to seeing how we measure up.
All right, Coach, let me go ahead and let you lock in.
Yes.
It's time to get to it.
Okay, thanks so much.
All right, Bill, back to you.
All right, Serenity, great stuff. What a journey it has been for Quincy Williams. And we come back, I'm really excited for this men's 400. It is a heck of a field. Quincy Wilson is there. We'll also see Stephen Gardner and so many other guys who have run incredibly fast in the quarter mile. That's coming up when we come back to Memphis.
Let me kiss this track right now.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.
All right, this should be fun. It's the Jim Mathis Invitational Men's 400 meters, and we've got some studs on the track right now. Let's start in the inside in lane number 1. He was the NCAA champion in the 800, running for Georgia back in 2023. Turned pro after his freshman season. It is Will Sumner. Lane number 2, Judson Lincoln, the 4th out of Columbia, Maryland. In his first race since April at Virginia Tech, he was the ACC indoor champion in the 200 and 400 this year. Last year, he was the ACC outdoor champ in the 200 and 400s. Great high schooler, a USU 20 champ, a New Balance national champ as well. And again, he runs in lane number 2. Lane 3 belongs to Bryce Dedman, who has a personal best of 44.22. He was nearly there this year. He's already run 44.30. Tokyo and Paris gold medalist running in the heats of the 4x4. Also a silver in the mixed 4x4 in Paris. Was 5th at Olympic trials last year and trying to get on a world's team individually for the second straight world championship, made worlds in 2023. Elijah Godwin's next to him, the 25-year-old, built like a linebacker, has been a key part of U.S. 4x4 teams at both World Championships and Olympic Games, where he was bronze medalist in the mixed 4x4 in Tokyo in 2021. Next to him is the 17-year-old Quincy Wilson. Last year set the world U18 record and the U.S. high school record, running 44.20 to finish 6th at the Olympic trials. Got an Olympic gold medal for running in the heats of the men's 4x400. This year, running a ton still. Had a bit of a slow start to the season, but finished very strong. He's run 45.27 this year. He won the New Balance Outdoor National Championship. And again, set up his season to try to keep getting stronger through the summer here. and see what he can do at the U.S. Championships coming up. Unfortunately, no, beg your pardon, there he is. For a second, didn't see Steve Gardner in lane number 6. He was just trying to give me a quick scare here. Here is the 29-year-old Stephen Gardner out of the Bahamas. Only thing that has slowed him down the last couple of years is injuries, because when he has been healthy, he's been nearly unbeatable. He was the Tokyo Olympic champion, 2019 world champion. 2023, he was injured at the World Championships in Budapest. 2024, injured before the Olympics, could not run at the Olympic Games. He had not lost a race all year last year before the Olympics. Healthy again. He's run 45 seconds this season. We'll see what he has in store for us here, running out of lane number 6. Again, a guy a lot of folks are rooting for because he's had to overcome some physical ailments these last couple of years.
One of the greatest athletes we've seen in the 400 meters. I can't wait to see what he puts forth here today, because like you mentioned, if Stevie Gardner is healthy, this is somebody you have to keep your eyes on as we progress towards the summer in Tokyo.
Clock's really important for this guy in lane number 7, Delano Kennedy, the 21-year-old. He finished second last week at Jamaican Championships in the 400. So that would earn you a World Championship spot, but he doesn't quite have the standard yet. He's run 44.91. He needs to hit 44.85 for the World Championship standard and to get himself on that plane to Tokyo and the World Championships. Lane number 8 belongs to Justin Robinson, the 23-year-old out of St. Louis, an Olympic trials finalist last year and U.S. indoor champion in 2023. Was a World Championship gold medalist also in 2023 in the 4x4. And then finally, Michael Cherry in lane number 9, the 27-year-old 2021 Diamond League Finals champion, Tokyo Olympian, 4th individually, gold in the 4x4, but has not gone sub 45 since 2022. Another one of those guys looking to recapture his top form here in 2025.
You mentioned special athletes when they're healthy. Michael Cherry is another one. So if he's healthy, he's somebody I'm looking for. But I got 2 words for you. They are Bryce Deadman. That's who I've got my eyes on here in the 400 meters.
Again, watching lane 3 for Deadman, who's gone 44.30 already this year. Should be an excellent race. Jim Mathis Men's 400-meter Invitational is underway, and it's a good start in lane number 5 for Quincy Wilson. The 17-year-old's already gone past Stephen Gardner on the stagger. Bryce Deadman moving well in lane 3, so it's Wilson and Deadman with Justin Robinson out in 8. They're your best 3 positions so far. Looks like Gardner's finding it a bit here at the 200-meter mark. Can Wilson hold on after that torrid start?
It was this time of the year where Quincy Wilson really set the world ablaze. He's coming down a home stretch with Bryce Deadman. We'll see if he can hold him off.
Wilson and Deadman digging for the line. The 17-year-old Quincy Wilson holds Deadman off, and Quincy Wilson the win in 44.14 unofficially.
Wow.
He breaks his own world U18 record.
Oh my God. Quincy Wilson.
44.10 is the official time. My goodness. World number 4 at 17 years old. World U18 record at 17.
This kid is special. We talk about people who are made for moments. We've talked all day about how energetic this crowd is, how hot the track has been, and you bring somebody like Quincy Wilson into this environment, a short trip down from Maryland where he calls home base, and he lights the track on fire.
So a 1/10 of a second improvement on his own world U18 record. He's now the fastest U20, fourth fastest world U20 runner, along with the fastest ever world U18 runner, 44.10, and he did it flying out of the start. Deadman ran a strong race like you were expecting, but Wilson gave him nothing down the backstretch.
I'll tell you, so the times went pretty much how I thought they would for Bryce Deadman. The race, listen, let me tell you the truth. I didn't know if Quincy Wilson had that in him today. He'd run so many races last year. The season hadn't really quite gotten off to the way that he probably would have wanted it to, and I wasn't sure if all of the races were taking a toll on his body, but here he is today to let me and the world know, oh no, we were just getting ready.
44:10. Again, fourth fastest time in the world this year. Only Zakeith Nene of South Africa and Americans Caleb McRae and Ja'Cory Patterson have run faster. And to put that time in perspective, that matched the winning time of the Olympic medalist Matthew Hudson Smith to win the Prefontaine Classic last week. Fourth best in the world. There he is with his coach. Executed that plan to perfection. And you think about the pressure that's heaped on you when you do what he did at 16. Dealt with the ups and the downs of the last year, and now faster than he's ever been.
I'm telling you, my mind is still blown. I'm just thinking big picture. You know, like Christopher Bailey, Bryce Dedman, these guys have been running so well all year, but when you get a guy like Quincy Wilson, who's this electric, who's got the experience from last year and now is coming back again with a year under his belt, and you see the type of performance he put forward today, it lets you know this guy is coming to play. He's going to have something to say about those open 400-meter bids for this upcoming World Championships. I can't wait to see it.
All right, let's hear from the guy who just lowered his own World U18 record. Quincy Wilson's with Serenity.
Quincy, insane run. You got out like your feet were on fire. What was your race strategy coming into today?
I mean, if you go see my races before, I haven't been getting out. My coach been telling me, stay on our process, do what we got to do. And I went out there and shot out like a bullet.
You absolutely did. And we're not here to make it about anybody else, but Quincy, you made up the stagger on an Olympic champion. That says a lot about your tenacity. Speak to maybe what Coach Joe Lee was telling you right before the race.
Of course, I mean, my coach has been by my side, my parents, God. They tell me they got me the right way, and I just try to follow their plan.
Quincy, you came through here and touched everybody's hand right after your race. Why?
They were all cheering for me when I seen that I was done, so I'm just super thankful and super blessed.
And shout out your community back there at Bullis.
Of course, shout out to everybody in Maryland, shout out to DMV, shout out to Bullis for sure.
Now, we're not going to give you a bottle to pop, but huge congratulations. Go ahead and celebrate. Look, Coach said he'll pop it. Coach is going to pop it.
Quincy's coach will pop the champagne here. Remember, he's just 17. Maybe need to get a bottle of sparkling cider for Quincy next year if he comes back to the Murphy meet. Coach gets the pleasure of the shake and celebration here. World U18 record, 44:10. And again, I'm just as impressed that he won that race when it looked like Bryce Dedman would maybe track him down. And he didn't just hold him off. He got away from him a bit there in the final 50 meters or so.
If you've seen the look in his eyes in that interview, that gave you more context to the last 100 meters of that race. This guy has something to prove. Listen, I'm still mind blown, truthfully, man. I'm trying to find the words to talk about it, but that was truly mind blowing for me. I'm just so excited for Quincy Wilson and his coach. That kid is special. Listen, he's been taking a lot of college visits, and people have been coming to his home, and I don't know if he's going to be at a university running in the NCAA next fall. Somebody might be paying that kid the big bucks to wear their jersey.
Yeah, the nice thing now in the NIL world is maybe he can get the best of both worlds. You can sign an NIL deal, still go to college if you want to have that experience as well. But you're right, the options are probably going to be all his, the choice all his, way he is run at 16 and now at 17. And I think a lot of folks are going to look at that time and realize, oh, we got to factor him in when we think about what's going to happen in Eugene here in 3 weeks, and maybe you weren't thinking that coming in.
I'll tell you, as a veteran in the sport, when you're going through the season and you see the young guys and they haven't really taken off, there's a piece of you that feels like, okay, maybe they're tired. Maybe I can get one up on them. But I'll tell you, that performance right there is going to shake it up for a lot of these veterans, hoping that they could secure a spot.
All right, Darrell, this is your event here, the men's shot put. We're in the first round here. It's Rajendra Campbell of Jamaica, who was a bronze medalist at the Paris Games. He is the final thrower of this first round. Off to a good start. Defending champion Trip Pippery has the lead. 69 feet, 6 3/4 inches, 21 meters, 20. Roger Steen, who's coming off his personal best last week at the Prefontaine Classic, is second, 20 meters, 95 or 68, 875. Josh Awatunde currently in third. That throw from Campbell just moved him up to fifth place, 67 feet and 2 inches. And now Lucas Warning, who is in 12th after the first throw, will start off round two.
Trip Pippery and Roger Steen are staring each other in the eyes. We've got 3 additional spots for this upcoming team for U.S. Championships. Obviously, with Ryan Krauser having a bid, and we've got a lot of guys. Peyton Otterdahl, Joe Kovacs, Trip Pippery, Roger Steen. I can continue to go down the list. So when you got these, this is their last competition before that championship. I know both of them are looking to get the edge over one another.
Joe Kovac's having a heck of a year once again. World lead 22 meters 48. This is the British Virgin Islands, Jaimin Gooms. Said we can't quite judge by the lines here, right? Wait for the mark to come in. We saw that during the women's shot put as well, but the laser is accurate and on, and we'll wait to see where Gums' throw comes in. He was an 8th after the first round.
Yes, the laser is accurate, and I know for certain because I asked him to verify it when I went over there. So we got 19.24 for Gums in round number 2. He's in 8th place. And Jordan West, graduate of University of Arkansas by way of Tennessee, round number 2, another solid throw.
West currently in 9th after round 1, 63 feet 6 1/4 inches is his best. No improvement for West. He'll keep his first round mark and remain in 9th for now. This is Chris Van Niekerk out of South Africa. Through at the University of Virginia. Van Niekerk in 11th place before that throw, 18 meters 70, 61 feet 4 1/4 inches.
I want to just talk about the overview of this competition because we've got a lot of names in here, like Chuck Inequity. He just got over 22 meters for the first time at the Prefontaine Classic. A lot of guys here competing, a really nice ring, good weather, good circumstances. We know there's a bottle of champagne to be popped at the end. I can't wait to see how these guys find their footings. I think it might be a little late here, right? You got a big emotional competition about a week ago at Prefontaine, and now you're back out here. So I think rounds 4, 5, and 6 in this competition are going to be where it really is.
That was the throw for Tamon Johnson in 10th place after the first round. He threw 63 feet 4 1/4 inches. Fouls in round number 2. Nick Curtis in 7th place after round 1, just a shade under 20 meters on his opening throw. 19 meters 98, or 65 feet 6 3/4 inches.
Another Big Ten alumni, always rooting for my Big Teners. You know, even though he's, from the University of Iowa, when you're in the Big Ten, I always got to show you a little bit of love.
Uziel Munoz out of Mexico is next. So 66 feet 3 inches today. He's in 6th place heading into this second round, and deepest one we've seen on camera so far. And again, getting to the guys you expect to be out there over 20 meters, over 21, maybe over 22 if they throw like they have been the last couple of weeks.
Uziel's been a really dominant thrower in his own right for a long time. I remember competing with him back at the Tucson Elite Classic for the first time back in 2019 when he was a young thrower coming up from Mexico, and he's been developing and rising up the ranks and competing at a high level, and I think he's going to have a really powerful throw here in the competition as well.
Here's the defending Murphy Classic champion, Trip Pippery, the leader after the first throw, and that one's out deep as well. There was personal best last week, was the world indoor bronze medalist this year as well. And a guy just getting to that age where you start to hit your prime at 26 years old.
My advice to Trip Pippery was keep going. Keep going. He's been training really well. He's got a new coach, Dave Dumble, training up at Oregon State, and he's finally starting to find his footing as a professional. We got 70 foot on the nose, 21.34 for Trip in round number 2, but he is now starting to find that success as a professional like he did in the NCAA ranks, and he's really somebody to watch. He's a dynamic, elite performer.
Slight improvement for him to keep the lead. And now Roger Steen in 2nd place. Steen went up over 22 meters last week, 22.11, a new personal best. World indoor silver medalist this year at 33 years old. He just keeps on plugging.
When you want to talk about horsepower, that's Roger Steen. His technique, for anybody who might look at it, you watch somebody like a Ryan Krauser when it looks really pretty, Roger Steen, that's not really his style. This guy is all horsepower. He rotates really well in the middle and he's aggressive through the ball, squatting over 800 pounds, benching over 550 pounds. This guy is extremely strong.
Chuck Anakweche is next after Steen fouls in the second round. Anakweche in 4th after his first throw. That one sailing down the middle of the sector. Mentioned that he went over 22 meters last week at the Prefontaine Classic as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Chuck looks like today. I know 22 meters, that's been the bar. It used to be 70 feet for us here in the country. Now, obviously, he throws for Nigeria, but Chuck is American-born. He's, Nigeria by his family, and he's lived there for a long time. But he's he understands the American standard has been 70 feet. It's now been moved to 22. So a big emotional performance at Prefontaine. I'm looking to see how he responds here at the Murphy Classic.
And we'll check back in on the men's shot put in just a bit. But first, it's the women's 1,500, and we'll run you through the field of 14. Annie Rodenfels wears hip number 1, 28-year-old. Mainly runs the steeple, but this is some good speed work for her, reigning U.S. 5K road champion as well. Yolanda Negrambe, the 33-year-old from Sweden, 4:03.43 is the best personal best in this field, 6-time Swedish champion. Rachel MacArthur wears hip number 3, 25 years old from Bristow, Virginia. First 1,500 this season for the former Villanova and Colorado runner. Then it is Yasmin Wright, who ran at Oklahoma in 2023, Big 12 runner-up that season, setting the school record in the 1,500. Grace Boone is next, wearing hip number 5, 24 years old from Pulaski, Virginia, ran at Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech in her college career. Lindsey Butler next to her out of Corning, New York, wears hip number 6. Wrapped up her career at Virginia Tech this year with a 7th place finish at NCAA Outdoors. Made the Olympic trial semis last year. Ainhoa Bray, who represents Spain and ran at Ole Miss, wears hip number 7. Then it's Ellie Leather wearing hip number 8, 26-year-old from Bristol, England, was 3rd at the UK Indoor Championships this year and ran collegiately at the University of Cincinnati. Taryn Parks runs next. Parks in hip number 9. Wrapped up her college career at UNC this year by qualifying for NCAA Outdoors in the 1,500. Lorena Rangel Batres out of Mexico is in hip 10, 23 years old, was a collegiate runner at LSU and won the Mexican Championship in the 800 last year. Gracie Morris is next to her, wearing hip number 11, 23-year-old out of Aledo, Texas, 6th this year at USATF Indoors. Abby Goldstein, Harvard and New Mexico college runner, wears hip number 12. And Lori Barton wears hip number 13. Barton at 5th at USATF Indoors this year and the winner in the 1,500 at the Atlanta City Games. The pacer is Cassidy Johnson, wearing that hip number 14. She's slated to run at least the first 800 meters with this group.
What's a wonderful track meet without some great distance runner, you know?
I mean, that's what this meet was at the beginning. It was the Murphy Mile, and you got a lot of the great 1,500-meter mile runners to come down here. Fans would stand on the track to watch the runners run on lane 1. And now it has turned into a meet that has produced more than 60 Olympians here tonight. But you still got to have the 15s to have this meet go back to its roots here. Temperature, it's still hot. It's easy for me to say sitting here, but it has gotten much more comfortable as the sun has gone down. It is not unbearable for these women here in this 1,500.
I would say when I was out here at about 1 o'clock, the distance runners were probably saying, oh no, this humidity, this temperature, this heat. But now as it starts to cool off just a little bit, this feels like the type of temperature that distance runners love.
Annie Rodenfels has tucked herself into first behind the pacer. Lori Barton's right there as well. And Barton, a Clemson alum, where she was an NCAA runner-up in the 1,500. Barton tucked in now in that first spot behind the pacer. Mentioned the best PR in this group belongs to Yolanda Ngrambe, the 33-year-old from Sweden. She got a lot of support behind her last year when the Swedish Federation elected to leave her off the Olympic team, even though she was qualified, had the standard, and had run her 6th consecutive Swedish national championship. So did not end up making the team there, but hoping to make the world team here. And I know a lot of folks in the running world behind her there.
Yeah, I saw her coming up around that curve, just trying to find her spot coming down here about 500, 600 meters, just tucking in here, looking to make a move later in the race, letting them do the work and setting up her pace off of the rest of the field.
Still pretty comfortable and compact field with Barton behind the pacer Johnson. Gracie Morris is just behind her, the 23-year-old who won a road mile in Nice, France last month. Not a bad place to go decide to run a mile and go home with a victory as well.
If somebody told me I can go to Nice, France, but all I had to do was run a mile, I would take them up on that offer. Now, I wouldn't run quite as fast as these wonderful ladies would, but I would get on that track and make it happen.
They didn't say how fast you have to run that mile.
That's what I'm saying. They just
go
send the
15
contract.
minutes if you want to, yeah.
Just send the contract, and I will be there.
66 seconds on that last lap around. 1:55.51 through the first 700. About 2:11 through the opening 800 meters of this 1500. The Pacers off the track, and Lori Barton out there with Morris and MacArthur moving up. Rachel MacArthur, the three-time All-American at Villanova in Colorado, sitting in third. Ngarambe now in fourth.
MacArthur just a little bit boxed in there in third place, but you see her getting antsy, looking to make a move here as they come off this curve.
Still Barton, who's been in front the whole way. Then Morris and Ngarambe moving toward the outside here. Lori Barton, Gracie Morris, MacArthur, and Ngarambe. Lindsey Butler hanging around as well. And here we are to the bell. Another 66-second lap around the track there. Lori Barton ahead of Gracie Morris, Rachel MacArthur, and Ngarambe in fourth. And Cassidy Johnson now there in fifth, and there's a bit of a delta back to Goldstein. Barton opening it up a bit. Only Morris has answered her so far. Lori Barton and Gracie Morris pulling away from the rest of the group. It's a two-woman race with 200 meters to go.
Barton looks strong, but you see Gracie Morgan trying to make a move here coming off of that turn. It's pretty much been wire to wire. We'll see if she can hold on coming down this last 100 meters.
The TCU record holder, Gracie Morris, in the purple in second. Lori Barton, the Atlanta City Games winner this year, in first. Here they come down the stretch. Barton's been leading the entire way, and Morris will not catch her. Lori Barton goes wire to wire and takes the 1500. 4:03.49 unofficially. That is a new personal best for Lori Barton. It's officially 4:03.46. That's a 1 3/4 second personal best for Barton. Gracie Morris sets her own personal best in 4:04.05. Barton went 61.78 on the final lap.
She was pushing the pacer the entire time. She knew she wanted to run fast, and as soon as the pacer stepped off the track, Lori Barton was in control of that race. And sometimes in distance races, you look and say, oh, well, maybe she's setting up the rest of the field and they'll be able to run off of her, but she was having none of that today. She looked great. She looked strong the entire time.
Top three women all set personal best. Barton 4:03.46, Morris 4:04.05, and Lindsey Butler up to third in 4:06.28. That's a personal best for Butler as well.
So you telling me that you can set a personal best on this track here in 100 meters, you can set a personal best here in the 400 meters, and you can also set a personal best here in the 1500 meters. I think that means this track is hot.
Track's hot. Weather was perfect. Weather cooled down for these distance runners just enough to make it not unbearable, though I still appreciate the cold shower at the end here.
The people got us on the stream. I mean, we're all winning here. Everybody's winning here.
So 4:03.46 for Barton, 4:04.05 for Morris. Butler in third. Rachel MacArthur, Grace Boone, Ellie Leather, and Yolanda Ngarambe, your top seven here. Men's 1500, the Ed Murphy men's 1500 coming up in about 10 minutes time, but that gives us ample time to keep our eye on the field events and the men's shot put, which is moving quickly. They're through 3 rounds, and Trip Pippery continues to lead. He's improved his mark a bit each round so far. He's up to 21 meters 57, 70 feet 9 1/4 inches. Roger Steen has thrown the exact same mark of 70 feet 9 1/4 inches, but because Steen's second best is not as strong as Pippery's second best, he's currently in second place. Josh Awatunde not far behind, a 70-foot 3.75 inch throw, 21 feet 43 meters has Awatunde up in the third.
You see round number 3, the guys are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable with the ring and the environment, and now getting back to competition. We got two guys with the exact same distance, and those were the exact 2 guys that I mentioned coming into the competition, Trip Pippery and Roger Steen. I can't wait to see what rounds 4, 5, and 6 look like because they're off to a great start.
It was a great run in the women's 1500. Lori Barton led it the entire way. She got the win, and now she's with Serenity.
I'm so sorry. All right, Lori, top 10 time for you, but you were feeling all that pressure from Gracie pretty much the entire race. So what was going through your head, and how are you just trying to stay relaxed?
Yeah, no, the game is being relaxed, especially when you have a whole 4 laps opposed to just 2. And actually, when I heard that Gracie was on my shoulder, I was like, yes, let's go. Because we've been racing this season. It's been a lot of fun to have that competition and camaraderie to make each other go faster. And I mean, just all of the girls did great, and it was a really fun time.
Now, from an athlete who moved up from the 800 up to the 15, what are some things that changed for you in practice and maybe your mindset?
Right, yeah. I mean, I had to slow down, which I really needed mentally, of just like, hey, like trusting my coach, trusting the process. I wasn't doing anything special. I was just surrendering the process and having fun, and just being a little less emotionally attached to the event has made me bolder and just be able to have fun with it. So,
well, we like bold, we like fun. Congratulations. This should be a big confidence booster going into trials. Now go celebrate.
Yeah, thank you.
So Lori Barton will pop the champagne as well here.
She looks a little apprehensive.
Nervous. Yeah. Nervous.
Come on.
It's going. We're almost there.
There we go. There we go.
Gave herself the spray there at the end. Little champagne shower after picking up the win at the Ed Murphy Classic. And Lori Barton, a personal best of 4:03 plus. Mentioned the men's shot put. Through 3 rounds, and Trip Pippery is on top. We'll go back to the men's shot put and keep our eye on it here. Just wanted to give you a quick update because we've got the reigning world champion. The disc is happening outside the stadium, so unfortunately we can't show it to you, but we can tell you that Alaki Tasaga, the reigning world champ, is the leader there through 3 rounds. She's thrown 204 8 inches, 204 feet and 8 inches, 62 meters 38. Alida Van Dalen of the Netherlands is in second, 202 feet 11 inches. Gabby Jacobs of the United States currently in third as they've made their way through 3 rounds.
Alida Van Dalen, somebody I've got my eyes on. With the competition still only being at about 62 meters, she's a 64, 65 meter girl. She competes for the University of Florida, just kind of getting her season started again after the NCAA, getting ready for later in the summer, but she's got great technique, and I know her coach Eric Worski has her prepared, so I'll keep my eyes and see if her or Sierra Jackson can start to challenge Lockie for the championship here at Ed Murphy.
By the way, Dorelli brought all 12 to the 4th round in the men's shot put, so you just saw the throw from 11th place Chris Van Niekerk. We're going to keep our eye on the shot put, also bring you up to speed on the final event to get started in the field today. It is the men's triple jump, and here is Will Clay's first attempt. Your current leader is Chengetai Mapaya from Zimbabwe, the 2-time NCAA champion's gone 56 feet, 3 1/4 inches. And now we watch Clay, one of the best to do it over the last couple of decades in the triple jump. 2-time Olympic medalist in the triple, 2 silvers, also a bronze in the long jump, 2 world silvers, 2 world bronze. Now at 34 years old, looking to find a little more magic.
Just over the board. He looked good through his phases. I was interested to see how that came up, but just over the board, Will looks good. It's so funny. I'm talking to Will, and he has a sense of calm about him. He's at a different point of his career now. He's accomplished so much as a young athlete. He's now a father. He's married, right? But now he's trying to find that second act. He's trying to continue to push himself alongside of these young guys and find that success that he already knows he had once again.
I mean, at this point, he's been on the international scene for almost a decade and a half, nearly half his life. I mean, he was 21 in his first Olympic Games when he won silver in the triple jump and bronze in the long jump back in London. Followed that up with the silver in Rio before advancing to Tokyo, where he finished 4th. Did not make the Olympic Games last year. All right, we flip it over. Second jump for Shamaya James of Australia in 8th place, 50 feet, 2 1/2 inches.
We appear to be entering almost into a new era of U.S. triple jumping. You've got guys like Will Clay and Donald Scott who are trying to fend off a lot of the younger guys, but guys like Salif Mane, he looked fantastic at the U.S. Championship or Olympic trial, last year, and he's another guy that's been competing at a really high level.
All right, we're back to the shot put. Our top 6 with the 4th throws coming, and that is Uziel Munoz, who thinks he was very close to a good one there. You can see his reaction afterwards. Munoz in 6th place through the first 3 rounds, a best of 66 feet, 5 1/4 inches so far.
I want to talk about the guy that's coming up next. Rajendra Campbell in 5th place currently at 20.92. But he's another guy who is extremely dynamic, and in a competition like this where you're not really paying much attention to him and the competition's still sitting around 21.50, that's a guy you keep your eye on for a round 6 magic because he always seems to find it late in the competition.
Yeah, he was the bronze medalist in Paris, and we'll check in on him again in a bit. But now we go to the race that this meet was founded on, and this race is still named for. It's the Ed Murphy Men's 1,500 meters. As always, this meet puts together a very good field of 1,500-meter runners, including a guy who's here every year, Craig Engels, who wears hip number 1. I feel like in some ways he's the mayor of the 1,500 in the United States, just such a personable, friendly guy, but you catch him on the right day, and at 31 years old, he can still challenge for the victory. He's run a best of 3:40.13 this year, was the road mile winner at the Murphy Classic last year. Lane number 2 belongs to Isaac Bastin, 24 years old, winner at the Atlanta City Games. Earlier this year, we just saw Lori Barton, who'd won the Atlanta City Games, win here in Memphis. We'll see if it's the same for Bastin. Eldad Mulgado wears hip number 3. He ran at UMBC collegiately. Hip number 4 belongs to Charlie O'Donovan, 25 years old, out of Cork, Ireland. He ran at Villanova. Was 5th at the Irish Championships this year. Cooper Tier has hip number 5 on him, and for Cooper Tier, he's moved now mainly to focusing on the 5,000 meters. This is his first 15 of the year, but it is very good speed work for him in advance of the 5,000, where he'll hope to make a World Championship team. He was 4th in the 5,000 back at the 2021 Olympic trials. As a senior at Oregon, Pac-12 champion in both the 15 and the 5,000 that same year, and the NCAA champion in the 5,000. Hip number 6 belongs to Liam Murphy. And hip number 7, it's Jack Kroll. Murphy was phenomenal in his career at Villanova. Big East champ. Remember, he was an Olympic trials finalist last year. Murphy won 12 Big East championships in his time at Villanova. Again, he wears hip number 6, Jack Kroll. Hip number 7, Camden Gilmore. Hip number 8, then it's Mark Shannon, Mohamed Damouche. Hips 9 and 10, Luke Hauser, hip 11, George Cootie, hip 12. Jed Helker is the pacer. And for Helker, it's already been a good couple of days for him. He won the road mile yesterday on Beale Street here at the Murphy Classic. So he got to pop champagne before anybody else in the entire competition had yesterday.
Coming back out to get a cool down and some workout and help these guys along in the 1,500 meters. I want to see Liam Murphy here. He had a tough NCAA championships, quite misjudged his prelim round in the 1,500 and wasn't able to advance, and this is his first time back out on the track since then, so I'm interested to see just what kind of race he puts forward here as he tries to progress through the summer.
Murphy ran 3:33.02 earlier in the season this year. That was the NCAA record. Again, he is in the middle of this pack. Cooper Tier's tucked into 3rd behind Isaac Bastin and Charlie O'Donovan. Craig Engels also comfortably in the top 4. Murphy in 5th and Hauser in 6th.
My spirit wants to see Craig Engels win this race because I know he's going to look so cool popping a bottle of champagne, but I've got my eye on Cooper Tier. If these guys don't take it out with his strength, like you said, he's been training a lot for the 5,000 meters. A guy like that, you want to take it out. You want to see if you can make it a speed-based race, but if you let him hold on, he'll have something to say for it coming down in the home stretch.
Bastin, Tier, O'Donovan, and George Cootie have all moved up into good spots. Cootie, 20 years old from Great Britain, took this outdoor season off at Virginia Tech, but was 13th at NCAA indoors. It is Bastin still leading, went 59.23 on that last lap. They're going to come through 800 here in about 156 and some change, 157. And that's right when Cooper Tiers decided it's time for him to move to the front. The pacer Helker hanging on is about to step off to the side, and Cooper Tier moves into the lead.
And here comes my guy Liam Murphy also trying to move up. But who we got here coming up on the outside in the all black?
Tier still in front. Craig Engels is hanging around. He's in 3rd. Cootie in 2nd. And it's Hauser in the all-black who's moved up. Luke Hauser into 4th. Cooper Tier still out in front. You know he's not going to fade late because he has that super strength in the 5,000. Can he run this at the pace he needs to take the kick out of some of these 1,500-meter specialists? He's trying to make this a hard, fair, and honest race. And it's Engels still in 3rd behind Cowdy and Tier. 57.30 on the last 400 for Cooper Tier.
When you've seen him pressing up on the pacer, that lets you know that he wants this race to get out a little quicker. He doesn't want to leave it late for any of these guys. He wants to see if he can use his strength to help carry him through the championship.
Here comes Luke Hauser, former NCAA mile champ at Washington in 23 and 24. World Indoor Bronze in the 1,500 this year. And Hauser's putting a little bit of sting into Cooper Tier here. It's Tier and Hauser, your top 2. You've got about 140 meters to go. Cooper Tier trying to hold off Luke Hauser's finishing kick. Craig Engels really gritting his teeth as he looks in the battle for 3rd with Kroll. Hauser goes to Tier's shoulder. Hauser goes by. Luke Hauser takes the win ahead of Cooper Tier.
That was great running from Luke Hauser. If you remember, about 500 meters ago, I said, who is that in all black that's making that move once the paper step off the track? He looked good. He judged it just properly. He knew where he needed to be, and he came down the home stretch and got it done. That was great running from Luke.
3:34.57 for Hauser. He closes with a 54-second final 400. Cooper Tier goes 3:34.67, but I think what that tells you is his speed's in a good spot, heading toward what we expect to be a 5,000-meter performance for him in 3 weeks' time in Eugene.
He looked very fit. I know he would have liked to win this race and pop some champagne, but what I know his hopes are as he progresses towards the U.S. Championships, I think he steps off the track feeling pretty good about what type of race he put forward.
And Craig Engels did hold off Jack Kroll for 3rd, 3:35.83. There's Hauser, waited for the final 20 meters or so to make the pass on Tier and wins by 12 hundredths. So it's Hauser ahead of Tier and Engels. Kroll and Murphy round out the top 5. Good first professional race for Liam Murphy to get into the top 5. George Cowdy was up near the front with about 300 meters to go, finishes 6th. Gilmore 7th. And Mark Shannon goes 8th.
Atlanta Track Club having a good day. I'm so used to them sporting a bright red, right? When I saw it all black, it caught me off guard. I said, who is this black jersey? And now it makes a little bit more sense. That club is having a really solid performance out here in Tennessee.
2 races left on the track, men's 100 meters and women's 400 still to come. A couple events left in the field as well. Men's shot put, men's triple jump, women's discus, all still ongoing. By the way, the men's shot put through 4 rounds now. Roger Steen has moved ahead of Trip Pippery. They're still tied at 21 meters 57 is the best, but Steen's 4th round throw, 21 meters 43.70 feet 3 3/4 inches, is a better second best throw than what Pippery had. So that's how they flip-flop there in the standings. Got to imagine they both got at least one more big throw in them to determine this one. We're about to see Rajindra Campbell throw here, the Paris bronze medalist.
Oh yeah, this thing is not going to be over until it's over. All 6 rounds, all 6 throws, these guys are going to be pressing for that win.
Campbell in 4th place is best today, 69 feet, 4 3/4 inches. 2-time Jamaican champion. And the southpaw with a legal throw.
That's a solid throw right there.
All right, we'll check on his mark in a moment, but first, let's go down to Serenity. She's with Luke Hauser, who just won the Ed Murphy 1500.
All right, Luke, we have Craig Engels interview bombing us right now, too. All right, Luke, you went out hard, and you came through even stronger. I mean, what are you doing in practice to make sure that you're able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, just keeping the strength up. You know, these fast races, you got to be strong, so just keeping the strength up every day in practice.
All right, so now what are you going to work on for the next 2 weeks?
That was a big hit. Yeah, just going to get sharpened up. U.S. Championships is 3 weeks away, so for me, all eyes are towards that. Just get geared up for the 1500 at the U.S. Championships.
All right, we'll go ahead and celebrate that win. There goes Coach right over there.
Hauser will pop the champagne. So he celebrates, and hey, we got a whole lot still to figure out in the men's shot put. Who's going to pop the champagne? Because we've had some real movement here. That throw we showed you from Campbell vaulted him into the lead at 70 feet 10 inches, but then Chuck Anikwetsi threw right after him, 71 feet 1 1/4 inches. Now it's Anikwetsi out on top as we see Josh Awatunde throw here. Awatunde now in 5th, Roger Steen and Trip Pippery bumped down to 3rd and 4th, respectively.
And like I said in the beginning of the competition, rounds 4, 5, and 6, a lot of these guys have been competing and traveling, and you know they're in great shape, but sometimes it takes them a little bit just to get into the flow of a competition here. We've got 2 throws left for the top guys, and I think with the competition heating up, I can't wait to see what this attempt is for a guy like Roger Steen, who I know has a ton of horsepower in him.
No improvement for Awatunde. He stays in 5th. Here's Steen. 3rd place at the moment, but only 10 centimeters shy of Anikwetchi's best. Steen loves that one.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's good. This competition is getting good, man. These guys are getting behind that ball. Very patient, rotating his right foot in the middle. Good lift on it. Now we wait for the mark.
What can you say about Roger Steen, a guy who's been doing it for more than a decade at this point, keeps getting steadily better and moves up into 2nd place here, only 1 centimeter, a half an inch shy of Anikwetchi's mark.
This is the true definition of competition. Roger Steen is one of the best humans I know. When he's not competing, he works full-time at a mental health facility, helping other people, giving back to his community. Roger Steen is a true beacon of what you want in professional athletes. Tripp seems to like this throw. We didn't get to see the distance when it hit in the sector, but I can't wait to see the mark because he looks excited.
Trip Pippery, the defending champion here, an NCAA champ when he threw at Texas. Pippery was in 4th before that throw, but again, the top 5 are separated by only about a foot. Pippery moves up into 3rd, 71 feet even, 2 inches ahead of Campbell. I mean, the top 4 throws at this point are only about 3 inches apart from each other.
So just for reference, going into this round, Rajendra Campbell was in 5th place. Then he moved to 1st place. And then he got moved all the way back to 4th place in the same round. The guys are feeling it. This is going to be a really good competition heating up around number 6.
That was the final throw for Lucas Warning, who entered the last round in 12th place.
I'll tell you what I see.
Remain in 12th place.
Yeah, what I see watching this, I can't tell you who's going to win. All of these guys look good. They're very close. They're very boxed in. Now we're just going to see who can dig deep a little bit, who can also stay calm. I think that's another thing that's important with these guys is you know you want to win, you know you're in shape, but the question is how. How do you go about getting that performance out into the ring? Can you stay patient while maintaining aggressive?
There's Chris Van Niekerk's throw. He's currently in 11th place. We're 5 minutes away from the men's 100 meters. But in the prime time here of this men's shot put, 10 throws remaining in the competition. Tamon Johnson currently in 10th place. He throws next.
U.S. Olympic trials finalist, trains at Garage Strength up in Pennsylvania. Has been working really hard. Tamon's thrown 21 meters before. He's got one more throw. Let's see if he can get better than 1931.
It's a foul on his last throw.
Okay, we got calling for the clap by Jordan West. I love it. The fans are down there. The competition's heating up, so I know the fans are getting into it. The discus is also going on over there, so we got 2 groups of fans. Let's see if the fans can carry him out over 20 meters here.
West's best throw was his last throw, 63 feet, 7.5 inches to put him in 9th.
That looks close to about where he was before. Let's see if he can get an improvement. He needs 1975 to move up into the top 8.
Waiting for that laser mark to come in. We'll come back to the shot put in a bit, but for now it's time for the men's 100 meters.
And Jordan West threw 1975 on the nose. Literally on the nose.
You called it. All right, let's get you into the field for this men's 100. World lead is Kashane Thompson's 975 this year. And earlier today in the preliminary competition, Tamars McCollum ran wind-aided, but 989. He was looking pretty speedy. Lane 1 here belongs to Nigel Green, the 26-year-old who ran collegiately at the University of Tennessee. In lane number 2, it's Raheem Ford, the 24-year-old out of Jamaica. He was 4th this year at Jamaican Championships. Also won 3 hours to the east at the Music City Trek Festival just outside of Nashville a couple weeks back. In lane 3, it's the American Kendall Williams, 29 years old, from Jacksonville, Florida. Olympic trials finalist last year. Ran at World Relays for the United States this year. And been on the scene since a World U20 championship all the way back in 2014. So that's Williams in 3. You see him in the red and black there. Lane number 4 belongs to Brian Lavelle. He's standing in the back at the moment. You know, Lavelle is a threat here to win this 100 meters. He's run 9:94. He is a threat to win a medal at the World Championship in the 200 meters. He was the world leader for most of this year in the 200. Just won his 2nd consecutive Jamaican 200-meter championship. So have our eye on him. And Nigel Green's feeling pretty good as he shows off to the camera here.
He wants to be seen. Okay, we see you. We see you out here in lane number 1. Got the moves going, and now I got my eyes on you. I can't wait to see what he puts on the track because apparently he's feeling it.
To mention Level in 4, the Jamaican champion. Next to him is Ronnie Baker, who has been on the scene for a very long time, running in lane number 5. Baker, 9:78 best back in 2018, but he's still got it. He was the USATF indoor champion this year in the 60. He's always been one of the best 60-meter runners in the world, has a fabulous start. Lane 6 will be empty. It was a late scratch for Cravant Charleston, the 2023 U.S. champion. Lane number 7 is occupied by Devontae Howell of the Cayman Islands. Devontae Howell out of the University of Tennessee this year, where he finished 5th at the NCAA Outdoors. Also won the Cayman Island Championship this year. J.C. Stevenson slated to run out of lane number 8, the NCAA long jump champion last year for USC. Looks like he may be a late scratch here as well. And then lane number 9, it's Rakoy Brathwaite, 26-year-old out of the British Virgin Islands, has run 10 flat, a BVI national record, and made the Olympic semifinals last year.
So we're missing a couple guys here.
Looks like we're missing Ronnie Baker as well in lane 5.
I was trying to wait because just like Stevie Gardner, I wasn't sure if he walked up and wasn't on the screen, but we don't got Ronnie Baker here in this competition. So I've got my eyes square on Brian Lavelle here in lane number 4. You mentioned his 200-meter prowess at this point of the season. A guy with that kind of strength, I like to see what he does here in the 100 meters today.
So keep your eye on Lavelle in 4. Kendall Williams in 3. Olympic trials finalist last year.
Kendall Williams been running fast for a long time.
They all get away clean. Looked like Williams and Lavelle both got out well, and now Lavelle moves toward the front. Howell trying to hang around in the Tennessee Orange. Raheem Ford's there as well. It's a blanket finish. Ford, Lavelle, and Howell were all in the area code there.
Raheem Ford had a fantastic start. He jumped out on the field early. Lavelle tried to press late using that 200-meter speed. I need to see the clock.
It's Devontae Howell though, on the outside in 6 from Tennessee, who wins the photo finish. 10:07, same time as Lavelle, who closed for 2nd in 10:07. And Raheem Ford takes 3rd in 10:09.
The collegians still got it. We weren't even talking about him. That was how tight that race was, man. That's awesome. That was electric.
Pulling up our photo on our screen, and you can see it's the lean at the end there from Devontae Howell that's going to make the difference.
Now I want to put my eyes on him. We see Lavelle pressing late, but looking at Devontae Howell coming here to lane number 7 in the orange with the professional lean. Oh, that was a great job by him. Great job.
All right, let's go to the shot put for the final throw of the competition here. Trip Pippery is in 3rd place. Chuck Anakwechi was the leader before this Pippery throw, and now Trip is celebrating as we wait and see here He needs to beat 71 feet 1 1/4 inches. I think he thinks he did it.
Everybody else seems to think he did it too. We're waiting on a mark here. This competition is made for a guy like Trip Pippery. He's celebrating. He knows his far. I want to know how far.
He does it! 21 meters 88, 71 feet 9 1/2 inches. Pippery is the winner by 8 inches on his final throw, and he goes back-to-back at the Ed Murphy Classic.
One of the best competitors in the world. He competed at a high level at the World U20 Championships, and that was when he jumped on the scene to me. I knew he threw really far when he was a high schooler in Texas, but when I saw him compete at the World U20 level, that let me know this is a true champion. We got the throw here. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, very patient. Great rotation through the middle. You can see how aggressive he is up on the ball in his customary celebration. Trip Pippery back-to-back Ed Murphy Classic champion, 21.88. What a throw.
So follows up his 22-plus throw last week with another very good series. And how about the movement over these last few rounds, the men's shot put? Chuck Anakwechi will finish second, and Roger Steen moved up to third ahead of Rajinder Campbell. And fourth, Josh Awatunde rounds out the top 5. All of the top 5 over 70 feet.
That's some high-level shot put competition right there. Obviously, okay, cool. Everybody's throwing 22 meters, but on a given day, it is about competing and getting a win. And you saw all these guys scratching and clawing, trying to find that extra centimeter to get it done.
All right, Devontae Howell wins by 0.03 of a second in the men's 100, and now he joins Serenity.
Something is going on in Tennessee, but we got to talk about that 10:07 first. What was going through your head, especially after that dry phase?
Honestly, I knew that I was behind. My start isn't the best, but I know from training that I can run back. I got to stay calm, just continue to execute, and I'll be fine.
You're out here in your Tennessee uniform, repping for your college team out here, but do you get a certain type of confidence knowing that, like, I got to go back to college, I'm just out here chilling with these pros?
Nah, man. No matter what race I'm in, no matter who's in the race, I want to win. I know that there's big names in this race. Y'all heard the accolades before the race. But all that's going through my mind is if I execute, they got to beat me.
Period. All right, if it's okay with you, I want to get in some of your teammates over here because we got to know what's happening over in Tennessee. T-Mars, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. 19-7 earlier. 19-7 earlier. What was going through your head?
Just win. Beat the heat. I know that I had a lot of good comp in there. I just wanted to kind of make a statement, you know what I'm saying? That one-time race wasn't a fluke, that's all.
What does that say that we're here at a professional meet and we got some college guys up here repping? What does that say?
We training not just for college. We train to beat everybody. We're not training just to win NCAAs. We're training to be the best in the world.
And right here in Tennessee, do y'all have some pride? I know y'all not from Tennessee, but y'all are repping Tennessee. Do y'all have some pride being out here?
Yeah, we have a lot of pride. Go Vols.
Go Vols. All right, let's get it. Maybe like this. All right, y'all go celebrate. Not too much fun, though.
Hey, for the whole University of Tennessee crew, nice serenity to bring T-Mars McCallum in because his pre-program 100 meters was actually the best time of the day in the 100 when he ran 9:87. Did have a much more helpful wind. The wind in that men's 100 was just 0.1 meters per second. Really has died down since the breezy earlier part of the day. So they're getting the blocks on for the final race here at the Ed Murphy Classic. It is the women's 400-meter invitational. Mentioned, unfortunately, Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni under the weather today. She posted on social media, woke up not feeling well enough to race today. But still, this is a great field. We're going to see Britton Wilson, Lena Irby-Jackson, Talitha Diggs, and more. You look at this entire group, including 2 from Jamaica, 1 from Zimbabwe. Any one of these women, and likely multiple of these women, will be at the World Championships in a few months' time.
Absolutely, particularly the women that are representing America here. I'm so excited to see Britton Wilson. Wilson, when I was thinking earlier when we were watching Quincy Wilson run. Coming into last year, she was putting together one of the most impressive seasons that we had ever seen. 400-meter hurdles and 400-meter open back-to-back and trying to, win an NCAA championship. And obviously it led to some injuries, but when she's healthy, like we talked about Stevie Gardner and Michael Cherry and guys like that, when she's healthy, she was showing to become one of the most promising young American sprinters we had. So she's starting to find her way back, and I can't wait to see what she does here today in the 400 meters.
By the way, men's triple jump is ongoing now into the 4th round. Russell Robinson, who went to the Olympics for the United States last year, is the leader, 56 feet 8 3/4 inches. This is Will Clay's 4th jump. Clay currently in 6th place, his best 55 feet 3.5 inches.
Looks like we might have a white flag.
Yes.
We do. I saw his chest break a little bit when he came into his second phase there. He found a really good spot on the board. 1685 early in the competition. Let's see what we've got here.
Look, we do
number
get
4.
the double. This is fair. The double uncorking here. McCallum with the best time of the day. Howell wins the marquee event, so both get a chance to pop the champagne here.
Rightfully so. They both deserve it. They've both had a fantastic day, and I know they're going to be excited on the drive back to Knoxville.
No improvement for Will Clay on his 4th round jump. That one clocked in at 53 feet and 9 inches, so he stays in 6th place.
We talked a little bit about the changing of the guard in the jumping events, and Russell Robinson, another guy, made it to the World Indoor Championships this earlier in the season and got an 8th place finish, didn't quite get the competition he wanted to, but when you come off of an Olympic Games and a World Indoor Championship, you start to find a sense of confidence, and that's what you need when you start to progress throughout a professional season and get ready for a U.S. Championship, and he looks good here today.
So the 5th place position, Janai Parenchief, he passed in round 4, which means Kaiwan Colmer of the Bahamas is next. Colmer in 4th place at the moment. His 1st round jump of 55 feet, 9.25 inches is the best so far. Again, our best overall, Russell Robinson ahead of Chentektai Mapaya and Salif Mane in 3rd. Here is Colmer, and he fouls.
Oh, it's tough, but especially from this view, right? Because I'm always waiting until they hit the sand or waiting until our wonderful friend here with the flag puts the flag up, because that looked like such a good attempt, but unfortunately a foul here in round number 5.
Salif Mane coming up next. What an Olympic trials for Mane last year. He jumped his personal best to win the Olympic trials. First time we're seeing him since early May. Last time he had competed, it was back-to-back Diamond Leagues in China in early May. Saved the best performance of his life for one of the most important days last year at Olympic trials. Beg your pardon, this is Robinson.
Yeah, it looks like Salif Mane has passed. And so
yes.
When I look at his series of jumps, right, he comes in, jumps 17 meters, 1678, and knowing how he jumped at the championship last year, I feel like this is him saying, okay, I've checked my box. Yep. I know I'm good. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
So Mane and Mapaye pass. Robinson jumps in round 4 and is the leader as they head to round 5. We're going to head back to the track because they are lining things up for the final race on the track here at the Ed Murphy Classic, and we will bring you the lane assignments here in this women's invite 400 meters. In lane number 3, it is Taylor Manson, the 25-year-old who ran at Florida, was a Tokyo Olympian, winning bronze in the mixed 4x400. She was 7th that year at Olympic trials, a bronze medalist also at the World U20 Championships back in 2018. Jamaica's Leah Anderson next to her. She finished 4th this year at the Jamaican Championships in the 400 meters. Next to Anderson, we've got our eyes on Britton Wilson, 24 years old. Ran 49.13 back in 2023. That is an elite time. Injuries kept her out from April of last year until this June. So she's just on her way back. Ran just once, a 51.37 to win the Star Athletics Sprint Series. But before those injuries, she was one of the best in the world in this event and in the 400 hurdles as well. NCAA and U.S. runner-up in the 400 in 2023. 5th in the world in the 400 hurdles back in 2022 and a multi-time national champion at Arkansas. And it's Lena Irby-Jackson next to her. Irby-Jackson, 28-year-old Tokyo Olympian, ran 49.82 just a couple weeks ago in Ostrava. Lane number 7 belongs to Vimbaye Mazroeva of Zimbabwe. Mazroeva, 25 years old, ran the Zimbabwean record of 50.25 this year, running for Auburn, where she finished 9th at NCAAs. See what Talitha Diggs has in store. The 22-year-old from New Brunswick, New Jersey, 2 seasons ago dipped under 50 seconds, 49.93. She was the U.S. champion 3 years ago in 2022, a 2-time World Championship qualifier, 2-time NCAA champ. And it feels like she is ready to break out once again based on how she's been running early in this season. And rounding out the field in lane number 9 is Joanne Reed, the 23-year-old out of Jamaica, 7th at Jamaican Championships this year, ran at Arkansas this season.
This feels like a rematch of the SEC championships. I've heard I got 2 Florida Gators. I've got a couple Razorbacks. I got an athlete from Auburn. This feels like we're getting some SEC action going on. But like you mentioned, Talitha Diggs, another athlete, showed promise a few years ago. Is going professional. Is trying to find her footing. Now she's a few years removed from school. I'm interested to see how she finds her way as a professional here as we progress through the season.
So Manson in 3, and it's Anderson in 4. Britton Wilson in 5. It's a scratch for Lena Irby-Jackson, so she will not run in 6. Masfraeva in 7. Talitha Diggs in 8. And Joanne Reed in 9. Good test of fitness here. See where Britton Wilson's at in her comeback. And they'll stand them all up. This is the final race of the Ed Murphy Classic. We got to build a little extra drama here before we let them go.
Oh, we don't want the people to go home this soon. This has been such an electric competition. This has been great to see. So many fast times, so many great throws, so many high jumps, and it's been really cool to see. And so we got to slow it down just a little bit for the penultimate race and get some more energy here.
Manson, Anderson, Wilson, Mesfraeva, Diggs, and Reed from the inside out. As you mentioned, every single one of these women ran in the SEC collegiately.
A lot of familiarity here.
And they're away in the final race of the Ed Murphy Classic. Really good start on the outside, Nate, for Talitha Diggs. She made up an early stagger on Joanne Reed, but now Reed is surging back. Remember, Wilson has 2 lanes between her and Masfraeva, so hard to measure where she's at the moment. Masfraeva has now eaten up Talitha Diggs, who went out quick but then slowed. Joanne Reed's off strong in 9, and you can see Britton Wilson steadily gaining ground.
She's starting to look good here coming down 200 meters. You can see Britton Wilson starting to move up. Masfraeva starting to fade back just a bit, but it's looking like Britton Wilson coming down the home stretch.
Wilson has the lead, and this is where her background in 400-meter hurdling so often helps her bring it home. Britton Wilson is on top. Leah Anderson inside of her. Wilson holding her off. Here they come to the finish line. Britton Wilson is 2 for 2 in her return to the track, and this time she dips well under 51 seconds.
She's starting to trend in the right direction. I know she's got to feel good about that. She looked good. She started a little slower, but you see when they got to about 200 meters, starting to make her move, and she had that strength coming down the home stretch. I know she's got to be feeling good about that as she progresses and get ready for USA's.
She goes 50-54, nearly a second better than her first race of her comeback. She's won both of them. Leah Anderson 50-90 for second, and Talitha Diggs finishes in 3rd. Masfraeva 4th, Manson 5th, and Reed into 6th.
Man, kudos to Britton Wilson sitting around and waiting all day. It's 9:15 p.m. here on the East Coast for all my people who are different places watching. So, you know when
you mean 9:15 in the Central Time Zone here.
Central Time Zone.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. You caught me off guard.
10:15 in the East Coast.
That's why me and you work well together, man. You're always there to pick me up where I drop the ball. But, you know, 10:15 on the East Coast, right? So you're trying to get ready, and it's been a long day. You're sitting around, all the nerves are bubbling, and you know you got to get on the track and try to put together a performance and come out. And that was a great run from Britton.
Again, just the steady progress is what you want when you're coming back from an injury. She was out for 14 months before just returning last month. Has a couple weeks here to try and keep spinning it up because going to need to be on her game the way that the American women are running in the 400 meters so far this year. I mentioned Irby-Jackson's dipped under 50 seconds. Not sure whether Sydney McLaughlin-Lavroni is going to go 400 flat or 400 hurdles at USA's. That decision has been made yet, but obviously that's a dynamic that we all have our eyes on as well.
That's one of the great surprises that we will all be waiting to see how it plays out here in a couple weeks. But just like we mentioned with Afing Mu, you see these kind of athletes who you know they're special, you know their talent. When you start to see that progress, all you can do is just take a pause, wait a second, and just see what they put forth when they get ready for USA's in a couple weeks.
All right, well, let's hear what Britton Wilson thinks about where she's at in her comeback and her second straight win. She's down with Serenity.
Britton, it's good to see you back and healthy. This was your second 400 of the season and a lot faster 400 of the season. How are you feeling?
I feel really good. I literally wrote down 50.5, so that's why I smiled so big when I saw the time, because it was what I wanted to run, and I feel really good about it.
I mean, what does that manifestation do for you? Do you do that before every competition?
I do, yeah. I've done it since I came to Arkansas and had that amazing year at Arkansas, and it just kind of kept going from there. I just always write down my goals and stare at them like the night before.
I love that. I mean, writing down your goals is one thing, but some people look at it like that's chasing a time. But it works for you. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, how does this set you up pretty good going into USA's?
It sets me up great. I think it's a big confidence booster. I think also my body felt physically good, which is what I was hoping to feel. So going into USA's, it's going to make me feel a lot more better about how I'm going to race there.
All right. 400 hurdles.
400.
Okay, 400. Y'all heard it here first. Go celebrate. Even though you say you don't know how, we're going to teach you.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared, girl. There you go.
Britton Wilson picks up the victory. She'll pop the champagne here as she closes out the track portion of our competition here at the Ed Murphy Classic. By the way, just a quick update on women's discus. We mentioned earlier that Lagi Tasaga, the reigning world champ, was leading the competition. She won the competition, 62 meters, 38, ahead of Alida Van Dalen and Gabby Jacobs in second and third. And all that's left this evening is the final round of the men's triple jump. Russell Robinson is still leading. James Carter just jumped. He was in 7th place. See Will Clay on the runway. He's in 6th place. He'll go next. So we're to our final 6 competitors. There have been a number of passes as well, so maybe down to even less than our final 6 jumps in this competition. All trying to catch Russell Robinson, the U.S. Olympian last year.
Will Clay, last competition here before the U.S. Championships, last jump before the U.S. Championships. Let's see what he can put forth in the 6th round, see if he can improve on 1685.
I was back in round 2, 55 feet, 3.5 inches. Best of the day so far for the 3-time Olympic medalist. Really attack the board there.
Looked like a good jump.
It is.
White flag.
While they wait for Will Clay's mark, we got a guy who knows a thing or two about how to celebrate wins here at the Murphy Classic. Trip Pippery, 2 consecutive wins in men's shot put. He's with Serenity.
Feeling?
It's great. Coming off of a PR last week and coming out here and being a third on the last throw and managing to capitalize, it was fantastic. So following up last week's 22:09 with 21:88 and going in the next 3 weeks of training for USA's, I'm very, very proud and very confident. So that was nice.
What made you want to come out here after you PR just like you just said, 22?
I didn't want 4 weeks between meets. So I've also been here for this is the 4th year here, so I love this meet. So it's kind of a no-brainer. It kind of fit up perfectly in my schedule, and then I love the Ed Murphy Classic.
Oh, love to hear it. All right, it's time to go celebrate, Trip.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right, go pop that bottle.
Took him there from Trip Pippery as we'll watch Janai Parent-Chief out of Bermuda.
How cool is that? Serenity and Trip were actually teammates back at the University of Texas, so a very cool moment for both of them getting to talk to each other after Trip gets another back-to-back win here at the Murphy Classic.
So the jump from Parent-Chief's currently 5th as we're deep into this final round. Parent-Chief out of Bermuda was 5th at World Indoors back in 2022 and was a Paris Olympian. And the mark to beat is still 17 meters, 29 or 56 feet, 8 3/4 inches. And Parent-Chief does not get an improvement in his final jump, so he finishes in 5th. And we're down to our final 4. Kaiwan Comer of Bahamas is next.
Already coming in right now with a jump of 17 meters. I've got to check the wind officially, but if the wind holds up, that would be a personal best for him. So the Murphy Classic has been kind to Kaiwan Comer here. He's got one more jump. He's currently tied with Salif Mane at 17 meters, and he needs to get a jump better than 1678 to pass him on the tie, or he could just do it the old-fashioned way, jump 1701 or better.
But you're right, that's a great point. 1679 or more is what he's shooting for here.
How about just a 17:30 and just take a good old classic win, you know?
Coleman's ready. He's calling for the crowd.
All right, Serenity. We still have one more bottle of champagne to pop, so I hope you stay on for the triple jumpers.
Here comes Comer. And it's a foul on his final attempt.
Oh, you can see the deflation. That was a good attempt. I could tell by the way he came off of that hop step and the way he landed in the sand. He knew it was good looking back, and unfortunately, a red flag for Kaiwan, so he has to settle for 4th place.
So he finishes in 4th. We'll see if Salif Mane jumps here. Mane has passed each of his last 3 attempts.
Oh, here he is.
Does look like he's ready to go here. He's got a chance to go for the win. That's what he's going to look for here in this final round after passing the last 3. Mane has locked up at least 3rd place with the 17-meter jump. If he can beat 17:29, he takes the lead.
I believe if you believe. I think Salif Mane is one of the most talented young jumpers we have here in our country and as well as the world. And you can tell he came into the day, hey, I only won 3 jumps, so let's see what he's got in round number 6. Not quite. We've got a white flag, but you can tell he walked through it and maybe just misjudged a little bit. A little cold, you know, not quite what he was looking for. But listen, when you see 17 meters in round number 1, I think he feels good about that. I can't wait to see what he does at the U.S. Championships in a couple weeks.
So Mane will finish 3rd, and now it's down to 2. Shangataye Mapaya and Russell Robinson. It's Mapaya who needs to beat Robinson's mark here. Mapaya's best is a 56 feet 3 1/4 inches. 56 feet 8 3/4 inches from Robinson is the best in the competition. Mapaya was a 2-time NCAA champion at TCU and jumps for Zimbabwe.
Looking for a little love from this Murphy Classic crowd to carry him. 17:29 is the mark to beat. 1 attempt. Let's see if he can get it done.
He's got the crowd behind him.
That looks good. Do we got a white flag?
It's a legal mark.
All right.
So now we'll wait and see. Is it an improvement? And is it at least a 15-centimeter improvement?
We need a big-time improvement here. The suspense is killing me. That looked like a good jump, though.
He would need a personal best to move into the lead, and he won't get it. No improvement for Mapaye. His best came in round 1. He finishes 2nd, and that means Russell Robinson is your winner.
The last jump of the competition is our winner. He's already got this sewn up.
And we'll see Robinson has passed a couple of jumps in this competition. We'll see if he takes his last jump or if this is it. And he will elect to pass it. So Russell Robinson doesn't need to take that final jump. His 2nd round jump of 17 meters 29, 56 feet 8 3/4 inches, enough to deliver the W for the Olympian Robinson and close out the competition as Robinson will get the last bottle of champagne here at the Ed Murphy Classic.
This has been a fantastic day of competition. The jumps were great. The throws were great. My highlight performance here is, I got to say, Quincy Wilson. I was flabbergasted. I know I got to use that word. 44:10 in the 400 meters after coming in with a season's best of north of 45 seconds. That I did not have in my bingo cards, but I'm so glad I got to watch that race.
Yeah, that was awesome. Obviously a highlight. And how about early in our program, Mackenzie Long, 21:93 wind legal, 2nd best time in the world this year in the women's 200 meters. Another big highlight performance.
I'll be remiss. Listen, the people at home, they know I'm a shot putter. They know I love the throws. So I got to talk about how electric that shot put competition was. It's very on brand for where we are as we approach the U.S. Championships. These guys are going to be nicking and tucking for a few spots to see if they can move on. But that was really fun to watch as well.
Well, let's take a look at some of the big moments of this day. And again, we thank you so much for being with us here at the 9th annual Ed Murphy Classic. So excited to see where this meet continues to grow. And again, all for that cause of fundraising for all the work they do with the youth in this community. It just helps that we get some great performances on top of it here as we raise money. It's a great work by all the folks here at the Murphy Track Classic, and we will take a look at some of the big moments. There's that world number 2 time by Mackenzie Long earlier on. Kyle Garland with the win convincingly in the triathlon today as well, and he had maybe one of the best champagne celebrations of any. Alicia Johnson did a beautiful double here, 12:25 and a 2.1 meter per second win, her second win of the day. Jaqueline Scott with a great finish in the men's 110 hurdles. And he had a pretty epic pop as well. So Abby Moore, who had a dominant series in the women's shot. Shafiqua Maloney going sub 158.2 to win the women's 800 meters. Men's 800, it was Hassan with the victory in 146.16. And Reggie Jagers beating the reigning Olympic champion in discus. Tia Donna Bell pulling away down the stretch in the women's 400 hurdles. And you mentioned it, we're going to see next Quincy Wilson with phenomenal strength at the end to hold off Bryce Dedman at the end of the 400 meters. It's a world U18 record for Quincy Wilson, 44:10. That's the moment folks are going to be talking about coming off this meet and looking ahead toward USA's. Barton with a wire-to-wire win in the women's 1500. And then the self-spray for Luke Hauser ran the men's 1500. The Ed Murphy men's 15. Hauser clipped it at the end, just ahead of Cooper Tier to win by 12 hundredths. Men's 100 won by Devontae Howell in 10:07. It was a photo finish. You see him in the orange. He crept up there and caught Brian Lavelle and Raheem Ford to take the win. T-Mars McCallum, who ran 9:87 earlier in the day, celebrating with him as well. And we saw it there at the end. Britton Wilson in the women's 400 going strong through the line to win in 50:54. So a lot of fun here at this Ed Murphy Classic, and this was another one of those highlights. A final throw of the competition to go from third to first. Trip Pippery defends his championship and celebrates in style. And Tripp, we know he knows how to handle a bottle of champagne. He chugged it all last year here. He goes for the quick, short swig before saying so long. And speaking of saying so long, time for us to say so long as well. We so appreciate you joining us, supporting track and field here in Memphis and the Ed Murphy Classic. For our entire crew, my partner Darrell Hale, Bill Spalding saying so long, and thanks so much for watching the Ed Murphy Classic.
Let me kiss this track right now.
Here's a twist on your typical banking options. What if instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon. Big bank muscle with small bank hustle. Big bank convenience and small bank connection. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank.